Welcome to Salem, Virginia, and the home of the Division III Football National Championship. For the first time in the history of college football, two teams will square off for the 6th straight time with the title on the line. The matchup, the University of Mount Union and the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. The game is next. Welcome to the NCAA Division III Football Championship, presented on ESPNU by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. It's the #1 ranked defending national champs from Wisconsin-Whitewater, the Warhawks, taking on the #2 Purple Raiders of Mount Union. Believe it or not, 6 straight years these two teams are meeting here in Salem, Virginia. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Salem. Alongside my partner, former Georgia Tech quarterback Tom Luganbill, I'm Clay Matvick. 6 years in a row. It truly is amazing, but the more you study these two programs, it's very understandable.
It is. It's not all that surprising. The similarities reflect the similar philosophy, statistically, very similar ball clubs, and because of the weather elements that you're going to face at the Division III level, particularly in the playoffs, you got to be built from the inside out. You got to be able to build to wear the opponent down, run the football, control the line of scrimmage, and not make mistakes. Neither of these two ball clubs make very many mistakes.
Well, it's been 30 games almost since the last time Wisconsin-Whitewater lost a game. 29 games. That's the longest winning streak in all of college football. And this is a team out of the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference that really knows how to run the football.
They absolutely do. You see Lavelle Coppins there, 139 yards per game, but you combine the other two backs, and they're just under 3,300 yards as a trio.
And for Mount Union, out of the Ohio Athletic Conference, 14-0, 10 titles overall. This is a very young team for Larry Karras, but he always fields a winner, and he's got him back in the title game.
Winning is a way of life at the University of Mount Union, and so is expectation level. These guys know how to meet it.
Amos Alonzo Stagg himself likely wouldn't have believed how great this rivalry and this championship have become. Stagg Bowl 38, Part 6, Whitewater, Mount Union, next. These two programs always have their eye on the prize, and the NCAA Division III, it might be the envy of many college football fans in the way that this division runs its championship. 32 teams narrowed down to the same two the last 6 years, and now with Wisconsin-Whitewater head coach Lance Leipold, here is Jessica Mendoza.
Coach, there are 32 teams in the playoffs. You two have been able to get to the national championship consistently. How have you been able to stand apart from the rest?
Well, I think each program has taken a week-by-week mentality in this thing. It's been a long road, but again, a tribute to our players and our coaching staffs to get here.
Well, we've gone through the entire postseason without your star quarterback, Matt Blanchard. Sophomore Lee Brecky has really stepped up, gotten you this championship game. Now that they're both healthy, how do you plan to use them today?
Well, Lee Brecky will be the starter today, but we plan on using both quarterbacks.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Clay?
And there are both quarterbacks for Wisconsin-Whitewater. And it will be Brecky to start, number 14. He's on the left. He had never started a college game until the playoffs. It is a crisp late December day, 35 degrees just before kickoff. And last year, a lot of the Division III fans will remember that Salem received over 18 inches of snow in 36 hours just prior to the title game. No snow here today. Wisconsin-Whitewater in white, Mount Union in black, and we are underway in Salem. This is Chaz Jordan to take the return for Mount Union. Staggers and down at the 24-yard line, and that's where the Purple Raiders will start offensively.
We're going to start offensively, and quarterback Matt Pilato filling in for an injured Neil Seaman comes onto the scene after throwing for 4 touchdowns, 335 yards a week ago versus Bethel. So early success is important for this young man in the Purple Raiders offense, because Larry Karras, the head coach, Clay, he wants accuracy, efficiency, and a guy that's not going to take negative plays with the offense.
Neil Seaman suffered a foot injury last week on the first series, and he is not available today. And Pilato out of the gun, first play for Mount Union. It's a throwing play. It's caught over the middle by Cecil Shorts, the third. And in typical Shorts fashion, a big pickup of 10 yards. Max Ford on the tackle.
And Matt Pilato coming out in the no-back set. A spread look, which is somewhat rare for Mount Union offensively. But Pilato, your quarterback, number 13, he's a passer first. He's a pocket guy. And what are they going to do? They're going to go to their veteran receiver, arguably the best offensive weapon in all of NCAA Division III level.
Shorts had 185 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game a year ago. First down and 10 from the 34. Opening series for Mount Union, and another big play. Jeremy Murray on the first run of the day. And coincidentally, Murray, our impact player, the next in what has been a long line of great running backs in Mount Union.
Absolutely. He's a difference maker in the backfield. Cecil Shorts, who we just mentioned, an All-American, 6'2", 210 pounds, 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. And then Lane Olson, the spark plug at the linebacker position for Wisconsin Whitewater, only stands at about 5'9", but getting some NFL scouting attention.
On first down, it's Shorts again. Tries to step out of a tackle, can't do it, as the weak side linebacker, Max Ford, hangs on and brings him down for a loss of 1. The biggest defensive play so far here for Wisconsin Whitewater. There is Max Ford, 3-year starter. And contain Shorts is the biggest goal for this Whitewater defense today.
Wisconsin Whitewater, watching them on tape this weekend, this is not an attacking up the field style of defense. They want to keep the ball in front of them, make sure they don't give up the big play through the air.
Here is Pilato, sets, throws to the outside. It is complete. Caught by Jasper Collins, the number 2 wide receiver. It's another 10-yard gain, just shy of the first down.
Matt Pilato seems to be really comfortable with the game plan coming out. An offensive coordinator, Zach Bruni, in his second year coordinating the offense for Mount Union, seems to feel like spreading out Wisconsin Whitewater early is the best way to attack them. So far, Pilato taking advantage of the game plan.
The number 2 team in the nation, Mount Union. On its opening series, here is fullback Wes Ryder pounding it up the right side. Inside the 40 and down at the 44-yard line. It's a 3-yard gain, and the Purple Raiders move the sticks.
Balance is the key to offensive success, and it's been head coach Larry Karras' philosophy on the Mount Union sideline from the moment he took the helm as the head coach here in his 25th year. And so you may be seeing some spread sense right now, Clay, offensively for Mount Union, but at heart, they want to run the football.
New quarterback, new running backs at O-line that's brand new, plus some significant injuries through the course of the season, but Larry Karras has him here again. Under center, Pilato, play fake, sets up, time, hit as he throws, has a man, incomplete, and a penalty marker down in the secondary. Brandon Brown, the intended receiver. First incompletion for Pilato, but we'll see what the penalty's all about. Paul Cloutier is our referee today.
Offensively, the Mount Union players are indicating this will go against Wisconsin Whitewater defensively.
Defensive holding, number 23 of the defense, 10 yards from the previous spot, first down.
Well, Pilato's trying to hit wide receiver Brandon Brown, number 5, on the out and up, and you get the contact while the ball's in the air downfield that gets the call and draws the penalty for Wisconsin Whitewater. Hey, any way you can move the chains is positive, even when it comes from penalty yardage.
On first down and 10, they go back to the ground game. Murray quickly hit, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Max Ford again, the first man there on the point of attack. Second down and 10 coming up.
Jeremy Murray, 7 100-yard games on the year, and he's 5'8", about 190 pounds, so he may be short, but he's not small. And Coach Karras has talked this week with us about his ability to sustain over the long haul. He's been able to remain durable as a somewhat undersized back. He's been the focal point of the run game here for the Purple Raiders in 2010.
There's Larry Karras, 36th season at his alma mater, 25 as head coach. Out of the gun, Pilato. A lot of time to throw. Launches it toward the end zone and picked off. Picked off at the 1-yard line by the free safety Ryan Winkman.
This happened for two reasons, Clay. Number one, quarterback Matt Pilato is inexperienced. And as a result of that inexperience, he does not see the safety coming off the hash and Ryan Wakeman, number 5. Now, Pilato is staring down the intended target. That's an easy read for your safety, number 5 there, Wakeman, who just keyed the quarterback, came off the hash, and makes a key defensive turnover for his ball club that was backed up in their own red area.
First interception thrown this year by Pilato. Wankman, the sophomore out of Wisconsin Dells, with a huge play for the Warhawks. Their first play offensively, and it's Lavelle Coppage, the star tailback, taking it over the left side for a 5-yard pickup. It has been a great postseason for Lavelle Coppage, nearly 700 yards and 7 touchdowns since postseason play started.
Yeah, 1,800 yards on the season in a backfield with 2 other backs that have combined for almost 1,500 yards together. So this is a workhorse machine that wants to establish the line of scrimmage. But the interesting thing about Coppage, he too is undersized, but he is so quick. You can't ever get a clean shot at him, and he's got great vision through the hole in initial burst.
Lee Brecky, deep handoff. It's Coppage again, and this time no room to operate. It's going to be a loss of 2. Lambert Budzinski in on the stop. Also Charles Diesel.
You see Wisconsin Whitewater. They're what you would call a left-handed team. The strength of their football team is going to be on the left side of their offensive line with tackle Robbie Ustruck and Matt Weber. And this is a team that can become a little predictable in that regard, and Mount Union seems to be keying into the strength of Wisconsin Whitewater's running tradition.
3rd down and 7. Coppage driven back. Great defensive stand by Mount Union after the turnover at the 1.
And with a sophomore quarterback in Lee Brecky, that's an indicator to me that Coach Lance Leipold on the Wisconsin Whitewater sideline is not overly comfortable yet putting the games in the hands of a young quarterback backed up into his own end zone.
Isaiah Scott, the cornerback, made the tackle. And now Whitewater has to punt from its own end zone. Cecil Shorts to return. He is standing already in Whitewater territory at the 45. Chris Rochel gets the kick away, and it's a good one. Good hang time. And bobbled over there on the sideline by Shorts. And good field position from Mount Union. Well, the Mount Union quarterback, Matt Pilato, hoping to redeem himself on drive number 2 for Mount Union. No score. Clay Matvick and Tom Luganbill back in Salem, Virginia for the Division III National Championship game. It is Mount Union and Wisconsin Whitewater meeting for an unprecedented 6th year in a row. And all time, you can see that these are 2 storied programs. The national titles for the Raiders of Mount Union really stand out. They've got 10, more than anybody else.
More than anybody else. And those 10 have, they've come in succession. They've come at a time where everybody's paying attention. This Mount Union team, all they do is win championships. That's something that becomes infectious within your community and your school.
So here goes Mount Union back to work. It's Matt Pilato. Over the middle, has a man caught at the 23-yard line. Jasper Collins with a 19-yard reception. And how about Pilato, Tom, who threw an interception on his last pass, coming right back going to the air.
And standing in there. He's going to have a safety blitz from number 5 coming right down the pike. and Pilato stands in there and throws a strike, knows where the free rusher's coming from. I like the toughness out of the quarterback there. Ryan Wankman, number 5, lays the hat right in Pilato's kitchen. Pilato delivers.
And Wankman, of course, was the defensive back who made the interception on that last Mount Union series. It was 7 plays, and it ended at the 1-yard line. Pilato wants to throw again to the end zone, tipped and nearly intercepted. Steve McCullum, the strong safety, got his hand on it.
This is the second time, and this time Pilato got away with it, the Mount Union quarterback, where he is really staring down the intended target. That time, number 5, Brandon Brown, but Stephen McCullum, number 9, from his strong safety position. This time, the player on the hash just keying the quarterback, get right in front of that football. Pilato has got to start working through his progressions a little bit.
Whitewater last week had 3 straight defensive series where they picked a pass off. Here is Pilato again, this time in trouble and down. Dropped at the 28 by John Baldwin, the defensive end, first team all-conference. And it's a loss of 7.
This time Pilato, he wants to get rid of that football, but he takes the wise choice here, and he doesn't do something stupid that could result in a turnover and remove them from field goal or possible field goal contention. Now they got a 3rd and 10, Clay, but it gives them another down to fight, another down to live. Smart play that time by the young quarterback, Matt Pilato.
Baldwin, one of 11 first-team all-conference performers this year for the Warhawks. So here it is, 3rd down and 18. Pilato throws to the outside. It is complete at the 20. And then being dropped is Jasper Collins, the sophomore out of Geneva, New York. And it's a 9-yard gain, but well short of the first down. And the field goal unit will come out for Mount Union. Tyler Almeida is the kicker. He is 16 of 19 on field goal attempts this year with a long of 34.
Well, and they can thank their quarterback, Matt Pilato, for just taking what the defense of Wisconsin Whitewater gives them on 3rd down just to get them in field goal contention. Head coach Larry Kerr is very happy with that decision.
This will be from 35. Out of the hold of Brandon Matty, it's on the way and no good. So for the 2nd series in a row, Mount Union gets well into Wisconsin territory and comes up empty. Wisconsin Whitewater nothing. Mount Union nothing. 7:24 to go in the first. The Division III National Championship here in Salem, Virginia. It's known as the Stagg Bowl. This is the 38th event. And there have been some great Division III players that have turned out to be excellent pros. Matt Turk, the punter. London Fletcher,
the field mouse.
Yes. And Pierre Garçon, who played for Mount Union back in the day in his 3rd year in the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts.
Has really emerged as a premier playmaker at the next level after coming from the NCAA Division III level. But when you play championship level football the way Mount Union does, you expect to be good. And that means you got to work to be good. And when you come from the Division III level, you know you've got to work to make an NFL roster.
Wisconsin Whitewater will start its 2nd series from the 20. Mount Union coming up empty on its first 2 possessions. Here's Aaron Roosh. I mean, he is hit hard. No gain. Alex Ferrara, the free safety, made the play. Division III, you may or you may not know this, does not offer scholarships.
For love of the game, Clay, Matt Vick, and you see the breakdown here. Now, keep in mind, at the FBS level, 85 scholarships, that's the limit, but it's all or none. It's either full scholarship or no scholarship, but at the FCS and Division II level, those scholarships can be broken up amongst the roster to help build your roster.
On 2nd down, Coppage. And this is going to be a short pickup. Give him 3. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 8 for Wisconsin Whitewater. The Raiders defense so far here today, Tom, has looked pretty good.
They have looked good. And, this is a defensive front 4 that's going to be multiple. They're read and react. They've got smart kids along the defensive front 7 in their linebacking core that know how to get lined up and control the line of scrimmage. That's the name of the game in today's environment.
Another 3rd and long for the Warhawks. Lee Brecky looking to throw. Has it complete. Caught by Adam Brandis. This is going to be a first down for Wisconsin Whitewater, their first of the day. It's a 13-yard reception by Brandis, one of 2 1,000-yard receivers for Whitewater.
And Brandis just runs your typical curl route, and very nice patience and the ability to work through the progressions for Lee Brecky. You see Brecky very balanced and calm in the pocket, and a quick delivery. That ball comes out of Brecky's hand very, very fast.
In the playoffs, a 64% completion rate. He goes back to the ground here, and Coppage will pick up 1. This defense for the Raiders, ranking number 1 in the country, allowing only 197 yards per game and just 72 rushing yards. There's Chris Pavazzo. He is one of several key players for this Mount Union D.
Championship teams, as I've mentioned, are built from the inside out. That starts in the offensive front, the defensive front, at the quarterback position. And you look at the similarities between both of these ball clubs. That's where these teams are head and shoulders above the rest. That's why these teams are now meeting for the 6th consecutive year in the championship game.
Coppage will sidestep. What a spin move at the 40, and he's got a first down. Lavelle Coppage, 2-time Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Player of the Year, and you can see why.
You know, I told you that it's hard to get a clean shot at him. Look at him make the first defender in the backfield miss, second defender, third defender. Great vision, a low center of gravity, and he's able to maintain his balance, and most importantly, at the end of the run for Coppage, he's falling forward. You love the back that at the end of the run's always falling forward.
He has 78 career rushing touchdowns, most in team and most in conference history, and he's just a junior. Brecky goes back under center. A little play fake, wants to throw, has time to do it. Comes to the near side, and it's batted down in the secondary. Nice play by the strong safety, Nick Driscoll.
Well, Driscoll, number 21, he's just dropping into a zone here, and he stays at home despite the play action that goes away from his side of the field. Driscoll has 3 defensive touchdowns on the year. Yeah, right there, Johnny on the spot, making the pass deflection for a 2nd and 10 now.
And as a former coach, you'll appreciate this. When a coach says he's a football player, you know, that's the best compliment you can give a guy.
Forget how tall, forget how fast, the guy's a football player.
Coppage finds a seam again, and look out. Lavelle Coppage to the 20. Gone. Touchdown, Lavelle Coppage, and Whitewater has drawn first blood.
This is a left-handed football team in Wisconsin Whitewater. The left guard, the left tackle. They collapse the line of scrimmage right here, and the flow of the defense is all that Lavelle Coppage, your back, number 33, has got to read. He immediately sees the cutback lane in the backfield. In fact, Clay, that's twice now. We have seen him see penetration, go opposite of flow, and create big runs for Wisconsin Whitewater.
Eric Kindler on for the extra point. It's good, and it is 7-0. Wisconsin Whitewater, the defending national champs, trying to do it again here in 2010. Lavelle Coppage, their star, has him on the board. The NCAA Division III College Football Championship is presented on ESPNU by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. Various snapshots of Mount Union's last 3 national titles. There's head coach Larry Karras, and by all rights, his team should have a 10-7 lead right now, Tom.
Well, they should. A missed field goal, a turnover on the opening drive, and keep this in mind. You see 7 plays there, resulting in a touchdown. That's only the 2nd touchdown in the last 20 quarters, including the first quarter here today, that Mount Union has given up in any fashion. So obviously, Wisconsin Whitewater getting it done early here in the first quarter.
Cecil Shorts, always dangerous, and he is upended at the 25-yard line and dives ahead to the 29. Williams in on the tackle. It's a 15-yard return, and Mount Union's offense, with Matt Pilato at the controls, will go back to work. Remember, Pilato making his first career start here today. It's the national championship game. How are his guts about a half an hour before game time?
No kidding. There's some flutters in his abdomen. There's no doubt about it. But again, he understands the element. He understands the situation that he's in.
He wants to throw. Running out of time. Now he'll step up. Good run for Pilato, and he'll get 8. Greg Arnold, the middle linebacker, tracked him down. Let's get an update from Jessica Mendoza.
Well, guys, Jasper Collins, after that last reception when Mount Union was driving, he came running in, holding his right hand. They made sort of like a pseudo cast that they put on his right hand. He's definitely still in play. They gave him some anti-inflammatories, but he keeps saying, I got to get back in. This is the last game of the season. We're not saving it for anything.
Jasper Collins, they like to call him Junior. And Mount Union hopes to get him back. Jeremy Murray will pick up the first down for the Purple Raiders. Lane Olson makes the stop, but it's a 4-yard pickup, and they'll move the chains.
And I think that Mount Union needs to get back to the run game here. Start establishing the line of scrimmage offensively. Allow your offensive front to fire off to the football. Maybe try and dominate a little bit inside by running the football.
How great have the running backs in recent years been for the Raiders? You think of Nate Kamick a couple of years ago, Terrence Mooring last year, and Murray, by all looks here, is another dynamic runner. Boy, Shorts had it, and then it was knocked out of his hands in the secondary. Wenkman was there. So was Kiesau. They really were all over Shorts in a quick amount of time.
Well, they are, and you're going to see number 99, number 56 up front, Casey Casper and Jake Keyser, once again in the grill of quarterback Matt Pilato, and you've got to admire his tenacity and courage to stand in there and fire the football downfield. But once again, Clay, we're seeing him throw the ball into an awfully populated group of white jerseys, and that's the opposite team here today.
We have seen it already today. Wisconsin Whitewater's defense, they bend, but so far they have not broken. Ryder takes it to the outside, and he's got first down yardage. Wes Ryder, he has carried more this year from his fullback, tailback position than he has the last couple of years, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, and the fullback position for both of these teams, you know, that's becoming an extinct species, and they're going to utilize them more often than not in play action pass, in the flats, short quick hitters, with the occasional carry that's going to keep you off balance on defense.
We'll see Ryder do both. He'll run as a tailback, and then he'll be the fullback in a traditional sense. Pilato steps up, cranks it deep downfield, and incomplete. ESPN, the home court of college hoops. Tonight on the U, 2 games. First at 7 Eastern, you're going to see Detroit against Central Michigan. Then at 9 Eastern, 2010 Lane Furniture All-College Classic, Cincinnati taking on the Sooners of Oklahoma. Holiday Hoops presented by K Jewelers tonight on the U. Player for Mount Union slow to get up and off the field. Again, we just told you that Jasper Collins was dinged up. And there appears to be another hand injury.
See his cleats there once he hits the concrete on the outer bank of the field. Slides and goes down. Tough to tell if the injury occurred while he was getting tangled up with the defender or on the sideline there.
Sherman Wilkinson was the player. Handoff, and Ryder is dropped this time at the 49 by Luke Hibner and Wesley Hicks. It's a loss of 2.
You know, if you look at Wisconsin Whitewater along their defensive front, they're really starting to load up the box. And there's more guys defensively in white jerseys right now than Mount Union has to not only block and pass protection, but in the run game as well. Keep in mind, offensive football is about numbers. Do we have enough numbers offensively to block the amount of guys you've got in the box?
Pilato pressured, hit, ball comes loose. He is able to recover. Still looking downfield and picked off. Intercepted at the 37-yard line by Matt McCulloch. Josh Williams hit Pilato as he threw it. Intercepted for the second time here in this game.
And Josh Williams is coming off the edge as the free rusher. I just talked about, do you offensively have enough guys to be able to block who's coming? And no, Mount Union did not on this play. And Matt Pilato's got the wherewithal to get that ball back into his hands, but then forces to throw downfield to safety Matt McCulloch. Makes a big play for Wisconsin Whitewater. The second turnover of the game for Mount Union, in great field position for the Warhawks here in white.
They've got it at their own 48. Here is Brecky over the middle, thrown low. Did he catch it? Yes, it's a catch for Aaron Rouge. Now one of the other officials is going to rule him out. Rule him off. They are going to say incomplete.
The coaches on the Wisconsin Whitewater sideline aren't liking it. Lance Leipold is not happy about this call. You're going to see Rouge go down low, the right side of your screen. Very difficult to get a good look there. But the head linesman on the opposite sideline from where we're at, he was calling it a catch for sure. The umpire turns around, overrules.
They'll go back to Coppage. And he carries down to the 47-yard line. Ortega, the nose guard, makes the stop. It's a gain of 4 for Coppage.
Now, as you're watching Wisconsin Whitewater here offensively and you're sitting at home, pay close attention to how many different formations you see them line up in. The shifts, the motions, the personnel groupings in terms of how many backs and tight ends and receivers they have. You're going to see a multitude of looks, but very simplified plays, and I'll elaborate on that here in a minute.
Third down. Incomplete. Intended for Brandis. And the punting unit will come out. So Pilato, the quarterback for the Raiders, helped out by this defensive unit again after throwing his second interception. Whitewater can't turn it into points.
Can't turn it into points, but what they are going to have an advantage here, if their punter can do an excellent job here of getting some hang time, is they're going to flip the switch on field position. That's going to be a positive for Wisconsin Whitewater.
Reichelt. Big booming kick. And Shorts inside the 5-yard line makes the catch and is hit immediately. A long field for Mount Union. ESPN, the home court of college hoops. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon, UConn's record run will continue with a tough test from the Maggie Dixon Classic as Maya Moore and the Huskies take on Ohio State. The Maggie Dixon Classic is part of Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers. Tomorrow at 2 Eastern. We're going to go for win number 88. Amazing.
See a head coach Larry Karras there from Mount Union, obviously not very happy with Cecil Shorts, his star wide receiver and punt returner, essentially completely disregarding the rule of sticking your heels on the 10-yard line and allowing the punt to go into the end zone by fielding it at the 1-yard line.
Last 3 drives, interception, missed field goal, interception for Mount Union. Pilato, deep down the middle of the field, has Shorts, and then it's knocked down before it got to him. Great coverage by McCulloch again, almost at his second pick.
McCulloch, yeah, as you mentioned already, an interception on the previous series. And I like the confidence Larry Karras is showing in his quarterback here off of play action. Pilato tries to go deep downfield on the post route. And Cecil Shorts runs a nice route, throw the ball upfield and vertical. But look at McCulloch, 23. Play the football over the shoulder, avoiding contact of the intended target. Number 10 there, Cecil Shorts, and an outstanding display of ball skills and playing the angle.
McCulloch, 7 INTs on the year. Play fake, Pilato to the outside, overthrows Cecil Shorts the third, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 10.
That was just a matter of, I think, Pilato getting a little bit off kilter here. He had an open target along the sideline, just threw it high. He's got to settle down a little bit. There's a lot of football to be played here, Clay.
And remember, Neil Seaman, the starter most of the year. In fact, all season up until last week when he was knocked out on the first series. There he is in a jersey, but he will not play today.
You take a look at the play selection here for Mount Union. Relatively balanced, but the sets are indicating that they really want to throw it here today.
Fourth down. Nowhere near that pass from Pilato. Was the intended receiver.
You know,
Stewart, the intended receiver.
You look at this football team that preaches balance. They want to be able to run it and throw it and kind of dictate tempo. They seem to be out of their comfort zone a little bit. And I don't want to say they're pushing the panic button, but they're clearly in passing mode. And as I mentioned, field position in favor of Wisconsin Whitewater. It could really be in favor of Wisconsin Whitewater after this punt.
Pilato started 3 for 3. He is now 2 for his last 10 with 2 picks. And that is shanked off the foot of Brandon Matty. And now great field position for Whitewater.
You've got poor weather conditions, cold, icy temperatures. The hits are stinging. That ball's hard as a rock. So when you can control the field and you can be on a short field offensively and a long field defensively in these types of conditions, you've got a chance.
We should point out that Brandon Matty has been dealing with a sore hamstring most of the year. In fact, he couldn't punt for 7 weeks of the season because of the hammy. And with as cold as it is, that could be a factor here today.
No doubt about it.
Whitewater on first down. Quick pass, incomplete, off the hand of Roosh. He can't haul it in, and it appears that Brecky and some of his receivers having some issues right now.
Yeah, they are, and we haven't seen them throw the football certainly as much as Mount Union has, but getting back to the formations and the personnel groupings, you see Lee Brecky here, just 1 of 5 today, but hasn't turned the football over. This is an offensive football team that's not going to have a lot of plays. The plays are going to be simplified, but it's complexity by simplicity in terms of how they make it look.
Handoff to Coppage. Inside the 25-yard line to the 23, Arthur Smith makes the tackle. Blanchard, the junior quarterback, over 2,100 yards this year, is on the sideline. Brecky getting the start here today. Blanchard, nursing a sprained thumb on that throwing hand, is available today, and you wonder if Brecky continues to struggle a little bit throwing, if we might not see Blanchard sooner than later.
It all depends on his health, and guys, look at the efficiency. 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. But if they're not convinced from a health standpoint he can be a help to this football team as opposed to a detriment, you're better off sticking with the younger Brecky.
First quarter is in the books. Stagg Bowl 38, the 2010 edition, part 6 in the matchup between these two great programs. Whitewater leads at 7-0 after 1. The Amos Alonso Stagg Bowl, the only NCAA championship named for a person. And Stagg was a great pioneer in the sport of football, also in basketball and baseball. He would be so proud of this championship and proud of these two teams and what they've accomplished the last several years. Here we go, quarter number 2, 7-0 Whitewater. They've got it, and they go back to Coppage. And he'll bring it inside the 20-yard line down to the 22. Wisconsin Whitewater offense getting that big run from Coppage, his 79th career touchdown. That's the difference in the game right now.
It certainly is, and if you've looked at their play selection once again to point out the left-handed approach of their offense, the left side of their line, Robbie Ustruck, Matt Weber from the guard and the tackle spot, collapsing the Mount Union defensive line of scrimmage to provide the cutback lane for Lavelle Coppage in this zone blocking scheme.
On first down, Coppage again finds a hole on the left side, and he's down at the 11-yard line. A couple of yards short of the first down. It's a gain of 6 for Coppage. Sam Kershaw makes the stop.
Well, this time they run play side to the left side. or you're going to see the split between Robbie Ustruck, number 75, and left guard Matt Weber, number 77. And once again, Lavelle Coppage, only about 5'8", 170 pounds. But you look at them and compared to Ustruck at 6'3" and 6'3", it's tough to get a clean shot or even see Coppage through the line of scrimmage.
Number 77, Weber, is a Division III All-American. Coppage goes to that side again, and he's hit in the backfield. Dumped by Driscoll, the strong safety, for a loss of 2.
Well, as you mentioned, that's Mount Union's best pure football player. As head coach Larry Karras talked to us this week about the heart and soul of their defense from a guy that just continually makes plays, and he's not blocked here. He's not blocked at the point of attack from his safety position. Does a great job taking the proper angle to the football. And finally, a negative play on offense in the run game for Wisconsin Whitewater that's been created by Mount Union on defense.
There's Coppage, 12 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown so far. 3rd and 6 for the Warhawks. Out of the gun, Brecky throws to the end zone, nobody home, and he was hit hard. Charles Diesel with the pressure. Lambert Budzinski was there as well. You got both of those guys coming off the edge, and that is always going to be dangerous for any quarterback.
Yeah, it's a crunch sandwich right here. Both of them unblocked. And number 2, Charles Diesel, hitting him like a diesel. Budzinski may be leading this team in sacks of 17.5, but Diesel there putting the hammer. The young quarterback, Lee Brecky.
30-yard attempt for Eric Kindler. And Wisconsin Whitewater takes a 10-0 lead. Kindler replaced Jeff Shebler this season, college football's all-time scoring leader for a kicker. And he has tacked on 3 more. Wisconsin Whitewater, located in Whitewater, Wisconsin. That's in the southeastern part of the state, 45 minutes from both Madison and Milwaukee. Play out of the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. They have won 30 titles. And Lance Leipold, in his 4th year as head coach, has done such a great job since taking the reins from his mentor, Bob Brezowitz, who is still very close to the program, even though he's retired. And in 2007, just 11 months after Leipold was hired, he led his team to a national championship. There's the great Justin Beaver with a 4th quarter touchdown run as Whitewater beat Mount Union by 10, 31-21. Let's go back to a season ago. Lavelle Coppage, that game was tied with 1:17 to go in the 4th quarter until he hit a 31-yard run. And they go on to win it again by 10, 38-28. And when you talk to Lance Leipold, just a very genuine man. He doesn't take anything for granted and really loves his job.
There's an appreciation for the teaching of the game. He embraces some of the challenges at the Division III level and tries to utilize them, turn them into strengths. And he's certainly building a winning program here with the Warhawks.
Mount Union set to get it back. Chaz Jordan from the 22 comes to the near side, gets across the 25 and driven down hard. For more on Coach Leipold, let's go down to Jessica.
Well, Clay, Tom, adding to what you guys are talking about, Coach Leipold, talking to him this week, said how he's gotten emails from all over the country, him himself being an alumni, but also alumni from everywhere, just how much pride there is in the success of Warhawk football and what they've been able to do.
You see the record there, 18-1, Jessica, all-time in NCAA playoffs, a 56-3 overall record. And right now, he's doing the 2 most important things you've got to do to win a game. Not turn the ball over and attempt to rush the football.
Leipold was the offensive coordinator at Nebraska Omaha before coming back to Whitewater. Here's Wes Ryder. And it's going to be a couple of yards before he is snuffed out by Luke Hibner. Mount Union shut out in the 1st quarter. Just the 4th time this year there is a penalty marker down. And a penalty against the Purple Raiders.
No, we're seeing this Purple Raiders team of Mount Union do things that are so uncharacteristic of how they've gotten to this point. in the 5 previous occasions. They've turned the football over early. They've had penalties at inopportune times to start drives. As we listen for the call here.
Illegal motion on the offense, number 10. Never set. It remains first down.
And to add insult to injury, you've got a younger quarterback that hasn't played particularly well here in the early going as we kick off the second quarter here, that's got to settle down a little bit and just play within the scheme.
Pilato. Wobbly pass, incomplete. Brandon Brown, the number 3 receiver, can't come up with it. Some miscues that you talked about.
Yeah, this is the first one with the safety off the hash. Number 5, Ryan Wakeman with the interception. Then the missed field goal on the following drive. And then pressure up front from Wisconsin Whitewater. Pilato maintains possession of the ball only to give it away one more time. And then the poor punt in the kicking game for Mount Union sets up terrific field position for Wisconsin Whitewater, who capitalizes with a field goal to make it 10-0.
Second down and 15 for the Purple Raiders. Pilato in trouble. Ball's out. Picked up by Wes Ryder. And it's going to bring up third down and a mile as this offense continues to struggle. There is a loss of 4.
Well, keep in mind, their starter, Neil Seaman, who won't play today, not only will he not play, he did not even dress, Clay. So if he doesn't go and you decide to make a change from Pilato, there may not be a change to be made. And the one thing I'll say about Pilato, with Greg Arnold, number 51 from his linebacker position, is we got a man down on the sideline knocking that ball loose. And Wesley Hicks from his defensive tackle position, number 95 as well. Pilato keeps his eyes downfield in the face of the rush, Clay. He really does a nice job of that, but he's not making great decisions with the ball right now.
As they attend to Wesley Hicks, we step aside. 10-0 Wisconsin Whitewater.
The Rose, Fiesta, Orange, Sugar, and the Tostitos BCS National Championship game. ESPN, the BCS lives here.
Clay Matvick and Tom Luganbill back in Salem, Virginia. Stagg Bowl 38. Mount Union 10 times national champs, but right now they're down 10-0. Mount Union with it. Third down and 19. Matt Pilato under pressure, wants to throw, comes to the near sideline and has a man. It is caught by Jasper Collins. Apparently that hand is good to go. He picks up 17, and it's going to be just shy of a first down.
It's just shy of a first down, but there's some important positives here. Number 1, Matt Pilato was on strike and ready to go. Number 2, he sets up this punt unit team with much more favorable field position to pin Wisconsin Whitewater back in their own territory. Nice job by the Mount Union quarterback.
Brandon Matty shanked his last punt. This time a little rugby style, gets it downfield, bounces at the 32, takes a nice Mount Union roll down to the 20-yard line. $10-0 as Wisconsin Whitewater set to get it back leading. And Mount Union now. Obviously, this is a very savvy program. Larry Karras is one of the best coaches in the country at this level. This is by no means how this game is going to end up turning out.
Well, it isn't. But what you do have in Mount Union is you got a football team with a quarterback that's inexperienced in the championship game, something they haven't had to deal with before. They haven't been winning the battle at the line of scrimmage, and they haven't had the good fortune of quality field position. And that's something that I think is critical as we watch this game play out, because Wisconsin Whitewater has made fewer mistakes than Mount Union has.
They go back to Lavelle Coppage, and he fumbles. And Mount Union has recovered at the 40-yard line. Nick Driscoll stripped the football, and it was recovered by Diesel.
And just as I say that, Clay, Wisconsin Whitewater, Lavelle Coppage goes ahead and levels the playing field a little bit. A turnover. Now Mount Union with quality field position that I just referred to. So critical, especially in a game with poor weather conditions and cold temperatures. Coppage doesn't see The tackle coming in from the side. Ball just pops loose. And now let's see if Mount Union quarterback Matt Pilato, number 13, can put something together here and start swinging the pendulum back to the positive side for the Purple Raiders.
What a game so far for Nick Driscoll. Jeremy Murray. He'll pick up a yard. That defense for Mount Union so many times this year has been the difference. And it was a very young defense to start the year. 7 new starters, but here they are. It was a concern early. It certainly isn't now.
You know, this is a defense for Mount Union that is only allowing around 11 first downs a game all year long. So they're controlling first down. You see the rush yards there. This is going to play out very, very interestingly if Mount Union can get something positive going here in this series.
Pump, Pilato, man wide open. Caught by Kyle Miller. Touchdown. The big tight end with a 39-yard catch and run.
Well, Matt Pilato, the quarterback, does a great job with the pump fake here. The pump fake is intended for the quick screen to the outside to the wide receiver. And then down to the sideline, Matt Pilato goes with the football. Tight end Kyle Miller, number 11. Just a really well-executed play on behalf of the offense for Mount Union. And bam, just like that, the Purple Raiders on the board.
Matt Pilato got a little confidence thanks to his defense. And Kyle Miller with the touchdown reception. The Raiders back in this one. The NCAA Division III College Football Championship is brought to you by the new Droid Pro by Motorola. Finally, a work phone worth taking home. There's Lance Leipold, the head coach for Wisconsin Whitewater. His team just giving up his first points of the day. A 2-play, 40-yard drive. Miller, the 39-yard touchdown catch. Exactly what the Raiders needed. They got the defense to come up with a big play, and then the offense turns around 2 plays later and gets it in the end zone. From the 14, here is Aaron Samploski. And out to the 30-yard line, a 16-yard return. Good coverage by Mount Union.
Well, take a look at what they did right here. You're going to see offensively, Kyle Miller, number 11, is going to come in motion. Now, we freeze it. This is Cecil Shorts. He's going to draw a lot of attention from this corner here. So what Kyle Miller is going to come down here, he's going to look like he's going to block the corner and then take off down the sideline, while Cecil Shorts comes back here, what looks to be a quick screen. And next thing you know, everybody's drawing up to Cecil Shorts. Nobody paying attention to Kyle Miller down the sideline. Voila. That's what a great player can do for you as a decoy.
Lambert Budzinski, interception. And he takes it inside the 5-yard line. The defensive end for Mount Union coming up with the second big defensive play in as many series.
Lambert Budzinski, 4 years in the program. Coaches love his leadership. You're going to see him kind of sneak from his defensive end position. He's standing up and he's dropping back into his zone, but he's very sneaky about it. And Lee Brecky just does not see him. And then you see Budzinski's athleticism almost scores, but putting the Mount Union offense in terrific field position for another scoring opportunity, and how the big momentum has swung.
Murray straight up the gut. And he's stonewalled at the 2 by Greg Arnold, the middle linebacker. We've talked about the Mount Union defense, number 1 in the nation. The first game of the year, the defense gave up 28 points and over 400 yards of offense, and the coaching staff was like, uh-oh, here we go. Vince Karras, the defensive coordinator, the son of the head coach, was scratching his head. But the group learned quickly. And, boy, we can see the star players really coming up big in this championship game here today.
Well, there's a burden of winning that you've got to uphold if you're going to play defense for Mount Union, and they took it upon themselves to get it done.
Murray again. Touchdown, Mount Union. And the Raiders have the lead.
Not only do the Raiders have the lead, the Raiders quarterback, Matt Pilato's got his confidence back. A touchdown pass, a big defensive turnover to set up field position. You run the football 2 times in a row. For another score in the Purple Raiders of the University of Mount Union. Now up 13-10 with the point after pending.
Almeida makes it 14-10 as Mount Union has its first lead of the day. Lambert Budzinski, the veteran defensive end, 4 years in the program. The coaches just love his leadership. It was his interception that set up that last touchdown. And for more on Budzinski, let's go down to Jessica.
Well, Lambert Budzinski, one of the biggest leaders on defense, but he was a linebacker his whole life. Then he was moved to the D-line, and he has really stepped up. It's what the coaches have all said, have really been the leader. He's the one that has the few experience. He makes the big plays, just like you saw him do right there.
And Lambert Budzinski is named after Jack Lambert, the great linebacker of the 70s and 80s who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and inducted into the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, which is not far from Alliance, Ohio, where Mount Union is located.
Well, as Jessica mentioned, Clay, when you've played linebacker before, it's not foreign to you to be standing up in space, which is where he got that interception.
Sam Plosky, good return. Slowed at the 29 and driven down right there. He is planted. And Wisconsin Whitewater will go back to work on offense from the 29, but now down for the first time today.
Down for the first time, momentum back on the Mount Union sideline. And now the question will be, how does Wisconsin Whitewater respond? How does young quarterback Lee Brecky respond? You can't press a panic button, and you can't get out of your comfort zone here. Run your offense, do what you do, and stick to the formula. It's what's gotten you to 14-0. And just because you've had a couple of negative plays in a row there doesn't change what you do philosophically on offense.
Brecky gives to Coppage. Gets it across the 35-yard line before he is met by Alex Ferrara. Now, the last 109 yards of offense for Wisconsin Whitewater have come from that guy. Now, is it becoming too much one-dimensional here for Whitewater?
I don't know if it's becoming too much one-dimensional as much as it maybe becoming too much of a wear-down effect for Lavelle Coppage at 170 pounds at 30 degrees here today and still 2.5 quarters left to play. Will he hold up for 4 quarters?
2nd down and 4. It's Coppage again. And hit at the 36 by Arthur Smith and driven down hard. A loss of 1. Smith, the first-year starter out of Miami, Florida. He has proven to be an excellent linebacker.
By the way, in case you're wondering if there's some speed on this Mount Union team, it's quite a few guys from the state of Florida littered throughout this roster. And for Division III, a non-scholarship level, that's saying something.
Boy, this Mount Union faithful that's made the trip to Salem, they're really being heard from now. Brecky, 0 for his last 6, 0 for his last 7, as Aaron Roosh can't come up with the catch. Chaz Jordan in on the coverage.
Chaz Jordan's on the coverage and press coverage on number 3 here, and they try and pick off the defenders. I think Roosh should have caught that football. Came in a little hot. I think Brecky could have taken something off of it a little bit, but for a guy that's Wisconsin Whitewater's all-time leading receiver, that's got to be a catch to convert for a first down.
Reichelt to punt. And this is going to hit down at the 34. It takes a nice Warhawks roll inside the 25. The last three Whitewater drives, a fumble, an interception, and that punt. Larry Karras and Mount Union, they have their mojo back.
Galindo coming up at the half. Minnesota Duluth wins the Division II championship, but not without some nervous moments against Delta State. The bowl season here. BYU is the early winner so far, and the Josh Selby era coming to a beginning at KU. All the highlights coming up, Clay.
All right, Lowell, we'll see you at the half. Thank you very much. Wisconsin Whitewater coming into this game, just 11 turnovers on the year. Fourth best total in the country, but turnovers have hurt them here in the second quarter.
Well, they certainly have there with Lavelle Coppage, and a rare turnover from him at the second level defensively. The ensuing drive for Mount Union resulted in a touchdown pass to tight end Kyle Miller, which started that momentum swing back to the sideline of the Purple Raiders.
First down and 10 for Mount Union. Trailing by 4. Pilato feeling some heat. Got rid of it in time. Connects with Kyle Miller. And it's a pickup of 3. Now, as we take a look at the drive chart, Mount Union scoring those touchdowns. 4 plays, 43 yards in a minute and 35 seconds.
You see
when it happens fast for him.
It certainly does. Punt, touchdown, touchdown. Both the result of turnovers on behalf of Wisconsin Whitewater on offense.
Wes Ryder in the backfield to the left of Pilato. He wants to throw. Penalty marker down and pass incomplete.
Offside, number 91 of the defense, 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
That's defensive end John Baldwin.
Got the dogs yanking at the chain, trying to get off the porch a little too early. See the big guys up front for Wisconsin Whitewater. They want to play on Mount Union's side of the line of scrimmage, as does every defensive front in college football.
Second penalty against Whitewater today. They trail it by 4, second down and 2 for Mount Union. Pilato, little play fake. Looking to his right, lobs it up, and incomplete. The closest receiver was Collins. And it's going to bring up third down. And, you know, it's a good move right there by Matt Pilato. You see the quarterback, because they had illegal men downfield within their offensive front, because that was supposed to be a screen. Another wide receiver screen to the sideline. Smart move by putting that ball into the second row. Matt Pilato, 6'6", 230 pounds. The sophomore made his first career start here today. He's out of Rotonda, West Florida. And out of the gun on third down. Pressure, hit, got rid of it. First down and more for Brandon Brown. Boy, and he is stuck hard at the 43-yard line, but he picks up 10, and they'll move the chains.
This is, once again, just a great job of Matt Pilato dealing with pressure in his face, not looking down at the rush, keeping his eyes downfield, and then being able to get the football off with Jake Hull, number 98, hanging all over him. But look at Pilato's eyes the entire time, just getting the ball down.
First down and 10. You're right. Pilato looks more confident. He's got a man deep downfield in shorts. Touchdown. Is this the same guy?
It's amazing what can happen as a quarterback when good things happen for your football team that maybe you didn't have anything to do with, but you feed off of. And now all of a sudden you're re-energized. And that's 2 plays in a row in the passing game from Matt Pilato that were a result of, number 1, his toughness, his accuracy, and most importantly, his patience. Look at him throw the football in the seam route down to the biggest playmaker in Division III football at the wide receiver position, Cecil Shorts, the third, number 10.
21-10 Mount Union. A 58-yard reception by that man, Cecil Shorts III. He has had 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. You said it before, maybe the best player as far as pure athleticism in Division III.
And when you talk to other coaches in Division III, they'll tell you nobody can match up with him. Nobody can cover him on one-on-one, and he changes the face of your defense. So because you're so concerned about giving up the big play, as we just saw Wisconsin Whitewater do there. But again, Matt Pilato, the confidence, the vision, the wherewithal to stand in there and not get rattled. Very impressive here in the second quarter.
18th touchdown of the year for Shorts. 63 now on his career. And you analyze talent for a living. When you look at Cecil Shorts, does he have what it takes to play at the next level? Division III players, generally, they don't translate to NFL players.
The question's going to be, what are his separation qualities? He has size. He's got athleticism. Catches the ball extremely well. When he gets into tight one-on-one matchups versus elite-level defensive personnel, will he be able to separate versus tight coverage? That will determine what type of pro prospect he could be.
Sam Plosky, another return across the 30 and out to the 35-yard line. Pierre Garçon is the gold standard for Division III players as far as jumping to the next level, and he played at Mount Union as well. Maybe Shorts can follow in his footsteps.
And he's got what I'm talking about, that ability to manipulate defenders with route running, stab and cut out of the break, create separation, double moves, stem DBs so that they don't exactly have an idea of what he's doing. If Cecil Shorts III has some of those same traits and can develop in that area, he could have a very bright NFL future.
Nowhere to go for Coppage. This defense is on a high right now. Jared Modrak, the defensive tackle, made the initial hit, and then he got a lot of help from his friends.
Yeah, the positives start to resonate throughout your football team, your sideline. The defense feeds off of the offense, and the offense feeds off of the defense. And look at the total yards by quarter and the explosion we've had from the University of Mount Union here. And notice how the mistakes have all of a sudden swung over to Wisconsin Whitewater, and now Mount Union error-free.
Lee Brecky, the chance transfer from UW La Crosse, hands off again to Coppage. He's got a first down and much more. Into Mount Union territory down at the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 21 for Coppage. And that's a good sign for Wisconsin Whitewater, which has been on its heels for the last several minutes.
Very important down on 2nd and 10 to get positive yards, let alone move the chains, get into plus territory against this Mount Union defense. They've got to sustain something here on offense for Wisconsin Whitewater just to generate some confidence, but more importantly, get some continuity within your game plan back.
First down and 10 for Whitewater. Brecky pumps now, hit, gets away from a tackle, throws it downfield and complete. Complete at the 33-yard line to Brandis. Brandis in the top 5 in several Whitewater career receiving records. He is one of the go-to guys when times get tough, and they are much tougher there for Brecky than what we've seen here today.
Well, Lee Brecky, much like Mount Union offensively, trying to implement the fake quick screen and the go downfield. This time, Brecky's got to do a great job of just getting the ball to the sideline, and you've got an Adam Brandis working and tiptoeing along the sideline to convert for another first down for this Whitewater offense.
Coppage again. And again wrapped up. Arthur Smith and Modrak combine on the stop.
Well, Coppage can do a lot, but he can't avoid a human missile like Arthur Smith, number 5, absolutely penetrating the A-gap. The A-gap is the gap between the center and the guard on both sides of the center. And that time, Arthur Smith just beats Wisconsin Whitewater to the punch at the point of attack for another loss in the run game of 1.
Coppage had a lot of Division I attention in high school, but he injured his ankle his senior year. Kind of fell off the radar. Found his way to Wisconsin Whitewater. They play fake to Coppage here. Brecky throws complete to Roosh. Aaron Roosh climbing the ladder and making a great catch, but he is hurt. Roosh is slow to get up after the 16-yard first down reception.
Well, Roosh runs what's called a comeback route. That's when you're going to sell the streak route and then come back to the sideline. And number 3, and you see him go down awkwardly as he's getting tackled there. Number 3, Roosh, Chaz Jordan, number 20, the corner, who gets spun around here on that comeback route, just lands on his ankle, it looks like, the right ankle. Varen Roosh awkwardly going to the ground there, Clay.
Aaron Roosh, the senior out of Hartford, Wisconsin, 5'11", 168. He is not big, but he is an exceptional route runner. The coaching staff explaining what makes Roosh so good to us this week. And it's his route running ability. And that is a good sign. He is walking off the field as his parents look on. You're going to understand how concerned they might be about now.
Very relieved there. And you talk about the route running. That's how the Steve Largents and the Wes Welkers really make it, because they know how to set up and manipulate coverage. They know how to take the defender's strengths and turn it into a weakness. Those types of things separate some special qualities in a receiver from guys that are just fast and run by you.
So now first down, 10. After that catch by Roosh, he is still making his way to the sideline. Whitewater in the red zone now. They're 86% on the year in scoring from inside the 20. Coppage cuts back, gets to the 15. It's a gain of 3.
Now, what we've seen the last couple of snaps out of Wisconsin Whitewater is the pistol that everybody talks about, with the quarterback in about a 5-yard shotgun, the tailback set back another 3 yards beside him. But what you saw to the right of the formation, the strength side that time, was the up back, the fullback. And essentially, Wisconsin Whitewater just ran the old-fashioned lead draw out of the shotgun play. But the pistol formation allows you to run the ball downhill with a physical presence.
Coming up on 3.5 to go here in the first half. Whitewater on the move. Coppage bounces to the outside and gets to the 11-yard line before he is wrapped up. Wisconsin Whitewater trying to wrap up a second straight undefeated national title season. Last year they won the Stagg Bowl 38-28 over this Mount Union bunch. They got out to a great start here today. Led 10-0 at one point, but then mistakes started to mount up, and now they're down 11 just before half.
Down 11 just before half, and that's why it's so important that they get points going into the locker room, because Wisconsin Whitewater is going to get the ball coming out to begin the third quarter.
Big third down here. Brecky away from center, gives to Coppage, finds some room to the outside, to the end zone. Did he get there? Yes, touchdown. Touchdown for Coppage. An 11-yard touchdown run, and the Warhawks get back into the end zone behind their star, Lavelle Coppage.
And behind the star left side of the offensive line for Wisconsin Whitewater, once again the Warhawks run behind big Robbie Ustruck, 75 at the tackle spot. And you see the extension of the ball from Coppage to break the plane of the pylon. Very interesting. I think that's a touchdown, and remember, from a reviewable play standpoint, it's got to be indisputable video evidence to contradict the call on the field.
Well, if this stands, it's going to be the second touchdown for Coppage. And he has got 21 carries today for 158. They are taking a look at this one upstairs.
Again, will there be enough with the angles and the shots that they have to overturn the ruling on the field as it stands, which was a touchdown? And I don't believe that you have that in any of the viewpoints we've seen there.
Wisconsin Whitewater has had the leading rusher in the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference the last 14 years in a row. Coppage led the league in that category, and he's feeling pretty good right now about this standing as a touchdown. Here's the call.
The play stands as called on the field. Touchdown.
And Whitewater, which was up on the ropes there for a while, taking some gut punches, is back in this one as well here with 2:46 to go in the second.
As I stated, when they were backed up right in front of us here, we're going to find out a little bit about their demeanor, their competitiveness, how they're going to respond. Well, they respond with a touchdown.
Kindler the extra point. It's 21-17. Lavelle Coppage, his second touchdown run here today. Second touchdown for Lavelle Coppage, and Whitewater is back within 4. That UConn consecutive streak. I mean, we've talked about 6 years in a row for these two programs being in the Stagg Bowl and how impressive that is. But the UConn women going for win number 88 tomorrow. That would tie UCLA as far as NCAA basketball prowess for consecutive wins. The men under John Wooden in the 70s put 88 together. An amazing run. This is similar but yet very different and nonetheless impressive. And tomorrow we might see a bit of history. Cecil Shorts right up the middle. And a good return down to the 34. Let's go down to Jessica Mendoza, Olympic gold medalist in softball.
Well, the biggest thing that UConn women's basketball is being accused of is being too dominant. I played in a number of Olympics where we've been accused of the same thing, but the thing that UConn is doing for women's basketball is they're setting the bar so high. They're showing not only at the youth level, but also other colleges how to emulate the very best. The same thing that John Wooden did in the 60s and 70s is exactly what UConn the women's basketball is doing for the game now. They're bettering the sport. I love seeing it.
And Jessica, you've played under some great coaches. There is no coach better than Gino Auriemma in stores for that women's program at UConn. Pilato out of the pocket, got rid of it. Jeremy Murray makes the catch. And that's going to be a pickup of 12 yards and a first down for Mount Union. Look at the longest win streaks. 29 games for Wisconsin Whitewater. That is going on currently. We're trying to extend that here today. Mount Union had a 55-game run under Coach Karras in the early part of the 2000s. Pilato again wants to throw. It is caught, and it's going to be incomplete. Caught by Collins, but he stepped right out of bounds.
Well, interesting. A little over 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Mount Union, they're putting the pedal down, and they're going to continue to see what they can put together here. And I don't think you would still see that. As we take another look at this catch, clearly out of bounds for number 8, Jasper Collins. I don't think you would see that if Larry Karras, the head coach at Mount Union, hadn't seen the flip switched in his quarterback's confidence level.
Yes. Pilato has been a different player here in the second quarter without question. Play fake. Backtracks. Dumps it off short. In and out of the hands of Jeremy Murray. Incomplete. Third down and 10 on the way.
Well, Jeremy Murray may still be running right now, even though you stopped speaking, if he catches that football. Yeah. They had the screen. Mount Union did set up so nicely if Murray can just hold on to the football.
Mount Union coming off of playoff wins against St. Lawrence, Delaware Valley, Alfred, and Bethel last week. All of those convincing victories at home. And with just over 2 minutes to go here in the half, they've got the lead. Pilato throws to the outside again and again, incomplete. Jasper Collins, the intended receiver, one more time. And this time Mount Union will have to punt as Whitewater's going to get the football back here with plenty of time left on the clock here before halftime.
They are, and I think field position will dictate what they decide to do with it. If for whatever reason Mount Union shanks a punt here, does it good length and hang time from their punter, Brandon Matty, then you might see Wisconsin Whitewater try and do something with it on offense.
And they've got all 3 timeouts remaining. Matty's kick, and again, not spectacular. Out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Boy, they had a chance to really pin Whitewater deep, and Matty can't get it done. Again, that hamstring may be an issue.
Well, you've got 3 timeouts left, Clay. You got Lee Brecky, a sophomore quarterback, not overly experienced. What he hasn't done today is put their team in a hole with poor decisions or turnovers from the position. I think this drive will depend on how much trust Lance Leipold, the head coach at Wisconsin Whitewater, has in his young quarterback, because there's plenty of time to make a run at it here.
On first down, Brecky, a little inside handoff to Coppage. And he gets across the 25 down at the 26. Chaz Jordan, the cornerback, makes the tackle after a gain of 3. Brecky is very young. Quarterback coach Josh Gehring has done a good job with both him and Blanchard. All they want Brecky to do is manage, especially in a situation like this. He throws, finds a man wide open, and caught. Incomplete, out of bounds. Adam Brandis hauled that in. Alex Ferrara in the coverage, but he was well out of bounds.
And Adam Brandis gets rolled up on as well along the sideline there by Alex Ferrara, number 7, from his safety position. And this is why they call it a game of inches, folks. I mean, if Ferrara, number 7, is a half a yard, half a foot late, that's a reception down the sideline.
Well, that's a scary situation there for the Warhawks, as Roosh got rolled up on in the last series. They want to lose Brandis, and now a man down for the Raiders as well. It's Alex Ferrara. He is still down there.
And interesting, he makes the play there along the sideline versus Adam Brandis, number 82. And Ferrara's the one that comes up hurting just a little bit. I like the play call, though, right there. Take a shot down the sideline. I didn't see it coming. I don't think Mount Union did either.
And there you see Roosh still trying to walk his injury off. It appears he is going to be fine.
I think it's his left ankle, as we saw it rolled up on that comeback route on the previous series. It actually set up their scoring drive to get inside the red area for the Warhawks.
You can see he's got a lot of tape on it now, so they have taped him up, and it would appear that he will come back.
Keep in mind, there's some caution here for Wisconsin Whitewater, because once again, they get the ball coming out of halftime after scoring the last touchdown to pull within 4 here of Mount Union.
Third down and 7. Caught. Coming back for the ball is Luke Menzel, a running back in high school, and the true freshman has adapted to the receiving role here at Wisconsin Whitewater. It's a pickup of 12 and a first down with 1:19 to go.
And Menzel showing some Mensa qualities by getting out of bounds immediately following the catch to allow this clock to stop and extend this drive. And Menzel, as you mentioned, really applying himself to wide receiver position. Too good of an athlete as a freshman to sit on the sideline.
Brecky looking to his right. He's got 3 receivers lined up to that side, deep downfield, and caught by Brandis on that sideline. This time he was inbounds, and it's a big gain for Whitewater, 30 yards.
And both of these football teams, we've seen it multiple times now, love the little quick pump to the wide receiver quick screen and then send the ball vertical down the sideline. And that time, really good focus and concentration on behalf of number 82, Adam Brandis, on a similar route to the one he caught out of bounds 2 players prior. And just terrific concentration, sideline awareness to haul that pass in. And now, with 1:12 left, Wisconsin Whitewater in terrific position.
And now they're going to go upstairs and review this play. Check that. No review. It's a timeout called by Mount Union. They have 2 remaining.
See the balls. We take another look here. It's certainly a catch without the ball touching the ground. If there's any question to the validity of the call, it would be in relationship to possession and whether or not Brandis was bobbling the ball to some degree as he's going down post, getting the 1 foot in, which he had.
Brandis, a big play receiver for the Warhawks. And there have been 10 plays of 10 or more yards for Wisconsin Whitewater here today. That is one of them. Brandis, it seems like every time they need a big play, he is the guy that they're looking at.
Well, coming into this drive, Wisconsin Whitewater had run 31 plays tonight, 21 of which were Lavelle Coppage runs. So now you come into this series, a little over 2 minutes to go, and Coach Lance Leipold, as we see right there on the sideline, put some confidence in his young quarterback, Lee Brecky, and he's made some really nice throws, both of which to Adam Brandis.
There is Kindler, the field goal kicker for Wisconsin Whitewater. He has a field goal here today already. Brecky throws again, this time incomplete. It was Brandis, the intended receiver. Chaz Jordan was down there, so is Cameron West, the weak side safety, number 4. Great coverage for Mount Union. Eric Kindler, 15 of 22 on the year, along of 44. Right now, the ball is at the 32-yard line. I think that Whitewater would like to pick up at least 10 more yards.
They absolutely would, and they have got the time left to do it with 3 timeouts. 1 minute and 8 left with a stopped clock.
Brecky goes to Coppage out of the backfield and quickly out of bounds. A 6-yard reception for Coppage.
Keep in mind, you've got the ball on the right hash right here, which means most of the plays that Wisconsin Whitewater has been going to have been into the boundary, and they've seen something there. They've been successful to Adam Brandis, to their Lavelle Coppage, but you've got the entire wide side of the field that ultimately they may have to set themselves up with for a straight-on field goal if it gets to that point.
Brecky, misthrown and almost intercepted. Penalty marker down. He was trying to float it to Coppage, but Nick Driscoll almost intercepted it.
See the officials here kind of debating on exactly what's going to be called here, maybe on Nick Driscoll.
Prior to the snap, false start, 89 White. There was no play.
That's the tight end, John Novak. Second-year starter at that position. And here's another look.
Please reset the clock to 1:07.
Well, Clay, I got to tell you, that's a bit of a ticky-tack call right there, because that's in slow motion. You run that thing at full speed.
It's almost undetectable.
It's a no call.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there's Brecky, 7 of 16, 87 yards. He has thrown an interception. He's got his team knocking on the door here just before half. And now a timeout called again.
Timeout, defense, their second of the half.
Mount Union has 1 remaining. And Whitewater has all 3 timeouts left with 1:07 to go before half.
Now, it's a tremendous opportunity now for Wisconsin Whitewater, the expense of Mount Union's timeouts, to come over and talk things through. On that last play that was intended for Lavelle Coppage in the flat, was a no play because of the false start. Wisconsin Whitewater had a motioned receiver, number 8, Luke Menzel, running down the middle of the field, down the seam of the wide side, completely uncovered. And then that's something that offensive coordinator Steve Dinkel in the box had to have noticed. And maybe if they can get themselves a shot to get a completion over the middle of the field, the clock is yet to be a factor as a negative force for the Warhawks here because they still have 3 timeouts left.
There's Steve Dinkel on the left. He is in his 10th year on the staff at Whitewater, but his first year as offensive coordinator. He replaced Jim Zabrowski, who was the offensive coordinator here, but left for Northern Illinois for a Division I job. So out of the timeout, 3rd down and 9 facing the Warhawks. This will be play number 7 of the drive. Brecky. Deep downfield, has a man, caught, touchdown. Tyler Huber, the touchdown for the Warhawks. 31-yard strike.
It wasn't number 8, but he was down the middle of the field. Steve Dinkel's he's in the little clubhouse right next to us here, so I hollered over to him. And I said, hey, in case you missed it, we just talked about it. You got the play action fake from Lee Brecky, number 14, down the middle of the field, this time to number 2. What a great play. Tyler Huber down the seam for a touchdown with a minute to go. And what great execution on behalf of Wisconsin Whitewater. Again, at the timeout expense of Mount Union on defense.
And Whitewater regains the lead. Lee Brecky, his best pass of the day, without question.
It is, and the recognition that there was no middle safety help, so he didn't have to worry about any safety interference. The play-action pass draws the linebacking crew up towards the line of scrimmage, and Brecky really efficient and accurate on that entire series. They took advantage of the boundary passes to Adam Brandis, number 82, come back and set up the field throw down the middle of Tyler Huber.
There is Tyler Huber, the sophomore, with his first touchdown catch of the year and the longest catch of the year for Huber. And with Brandis a little banged up on that series, Aaron Rouge banged up a little bit on the series before. Other guys are going to have to step up. We saw a big catch by Menzel on that drive, and Huber with the touchdown reception.
And then Coppage in between with the short throws out in the flat, getting out of bounds. A lot of smarts on behalf of Wisconsin Whitewater. There were 3 occasions, either with a run or a completed pass, where Wisconsin Whitewater on that drive did not have to blow a timeout because the players had the wherewithal to get out of bounds.
What did you expect, folks? 6th year in a row, and here we go, back and forth in Stagg Bowl 38. Here's Cecil Shorts again. He'll take it to the left side. Out over the 30 and driven down at the 35-yard line. 7 plays, 77 yards in under a minute for Whitewater. They go back in front by a field goal. Still 55 seconds to work with for Matt Pilato.
Certainly is. However, when you blow 2 timeouts on defense to try and prepare for what you're going to see from Wisconsin Whitewater on offense, now you've got relatively good field position at the 35-yard line, but you've only got 1 timeout left with 55 seconds. Those timeouts on defense cost you.
Fumbled, and Pilato was able to dive back on it, it looks like. His eyes were downfield before he had control of that snap. And it's a loss of 4 yards. Now make it 3 yards for Mount Union.
Well, and this is where the head man, Larry Karras, decides to take it into the locker room and regroup. Don't do anything hasty. Don't risk a negative play. Certainly don't risk a turnover.
Pilato's going to take a knee, and that's going to be it for the first half. 24-21. It was a game of runs, really, in that first half. Whitewater came out of the gate hot. They were slowed down by a couple of turnovers. Mount Union made them pay. They took momentum away from Whitewater for a while, but it's going to be Wisconsin-Whitewater, the defending national champs, with a 3-point lead at halftime.
And they did it by making fewer mistakes overall in the first two quarters than Mount Union did.
Let's go down to Jessica Mendoza.
Well, Coach, before the game, we asked you about your quarterbacks. How would you evaluate the play of Lee Brecky this first half?
Well, I think he's settled in right now. He made one bad throw for the interception. 2 back-to-back turnovers really hurt us. You can see what turnovers have done in this game. And it'll be a 4-quarter battle once again between these two teams.
Well, and you talk about all season long, your team has been a second-half team. That's where you've really won ball games. What are you going to tell this team to be that team in the second half?
Well, we expect a 60-minute ball game against Mount Union every time. We'll need to step it up again if we're going to have a chance to win here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, one half in the books in Salem, Virginia. Wisconsin-Whitewater 24, Mount Union 21. Now we go to Lowell Galindo and Charles Arbuckle with the ESPNU halftime report. Welcome back to the NCAA Division III Football Championship, presented on ESPNU by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. First half here in Salem, Virginia. Number 1, Wisconsin-Whitewater with a 3-point lead over second-ranked Mount Union. 24-21 as we get ready for half number 2. These teams meeting for an unprecedented 6th consecutive year. And I got to believe that the second half has a lot in store, so don't go away. Whitewater's going to start with the football here in the second half. From the 5-yard line. Out across the 22 is Sam Plosky. 6 years in a row, these teams have met, and you can tell they're familiar with each other. You can tell that they know what to expect, and back and forth they went. It was a game of runs in the first half. How do you see this thing playing out the rest of the way?
Well, Mount Union is going to have to find some balance on offense. You know, their first carry of the night by Jeremy Murray went for 15 yards. Since then, they've had 13 carries for 11 yards. If they become one-dimensional with the way Wisconsin-Whitewater is running the football, Mount Union may not have enough offensive series to keep pace with the Warhawks.
No gain. Second down and 10 coming up. Let's look at the key plays from the first half. And Lavelle Coppage was brilliant in the first half. But his fumble really turned the game for Mount Union for a while anyway.
Well, it did. It ignited Mount Union's run. You see the long pass down the middle of the field, to Cecil Shorts. But then Wisconsin-Whitewater comes roaring back. The touchdown pass down the middle in the dwindling minutes of the second quarter to Tyler Huber to go back up 3, and then the all-important reception of the kickoff in the third quarter to sustain momentum.
Good news for Whitewater. Aaron Roosh is out on the field. He had his ankle tweaked in that first half. That's knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up third down as Lambert Budzinski, the defensive end, got his paw on it. First half stats, points off turnovers significant as Mount Union went for 21 unanswered points midway through that first half. 14 of those points came off of miscues by the Warhawks.
Well, and that's just it. Mount Union has capitalized on those turnovers. Wisconsin-Whitewater has not. But Wisconsin-Whitewater, what they've been able to do is have important drives result in points when they needed it to. That last drive prior to halftime was critical to the Wisconsin-Whitewater Warhawks staying in this game.
On third down and 12. Brecky hit and pass incomplete. Charles Diesel drilled Brecky as he got rid of the pass.
You know, that's twice we've seen number 2 from his defensive end position. You're going to see him on the backside of Brecky here absolutely come in and level the young quarterback who stands at only about 6'1", 195 pounds. Diesel comes roaring in there at 230 with all his might and bringing the weight behind that hit.
Coming out for the 4th punt of the day is Chris Rochholt. Cecil Shorts to return. And Short scampers back to the 34-yard line, and he is dumped right there. Great coverage by Samplowski. Let's go down to Jessica Mendoza.
Well, I caught up with Coach Karras coming out of break, and he said this is what makes this game so great. There are always 2 incredible teams, and he's like, it's anyone's game. He said there's 2 things they're going to focus on, stopping the ball and also running the ball more on offense, so that way they can keep the ball longer.
Well, Jessica, that's exactly what we had touched on up here as well. This is a team, and I talked to Zach Bruni, the offensive coordinator, this week about their balance and if they're going to be in the shotgun. And he said, yeah, about 50% of the time. Well, in recent memory, this is the first time, Clay, I've seen this team under center all game long.
Murray is hit hard, no gain as Ryan Wankman, the free safety, brings him down. And Murray was held in check pretty well in that first half by Whitewater.
Well, he was, as I mentioned, a 15-yard carry to kick off the game, but then no significant production from the entire team the rest of the way with just 11 yards on 13 carries. And you can see as Larry Karras has decided we're going to attempt to run the football on that opening down, but now in no backs here on 2nd down.
Pilato hit hard. Great pressure from the edge. Max Ford and Greg Arnold drilling Pilato, and he is dazed.
Well, here's what you've got to understand when you go no back offensive set. You have got 5 guys protecting up front right here, but you don't have enough bodies to block 7 rushers. And that's exactly what ends up happening with Mount Union on offense here. So you got 2 free rushers coming off of what coaches would call a short edge because you got no tight end. Not only can you not block one of them, you can't block both of them. Your quarterback susceptible to a big hit and most notably an incomplete pass.
Well, Pilato was dinged up on that play, so he is going to come out for 1 down. Seaman, the regular starter, he is out of commission today because of a foot injury, so he is unavailable.
When you're going to see Cecil Shorts III get into the game offensively as the Wildcat shotgun quarterback, which is their best option. Why not give the ball to your best overall player to start each and every offensive play if you have to?
Low snap. Shorts manages it just fine over the middle and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. He had Jasper Collins on a dead sprint over the middle.
He did, and you got to love the guts on behalf of Larry Karras and offensive coordinator Zach Bruni to put Cecil Shorts III in there and throw a strike down the seam to Jasper Collins, number 8, who should have held on to that football. I don't think there's any question that Wisconsin Whitewater figured they might see the zone read or quarterback draw, what have you. No, they drop back and throw it. Alas, unsuccessful.
Shorts was a high school quarterback, came to Mount Union as a quarterback, but has developed into an All-American wide receiver. And Whitewater will have it back at the 35-yard line. Let's go down to Jessica.
Well, you guys remember Jasper Collins came out earlier in the game. He was having a lot of trouble gripping the football with that right hand. He was trying to work on it with his left, but you saw in that last play it was his right hand that was unable to grip it and make the catch.
All right, we'll keep an eye on Collins. The 2010 NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship concludes tonight at 8:30 Eastern, live on ESPN2. For more information on the Women's Volleyball Championship, go to ncaa.com. Penn State and Cal. Penn State, the 3-time defending champs. Well, this will be a big drive for Wisconsin Whitewater. Lavelle Coppage the carry. He picks up 6, so 2nd down and 4 on the way.
Coaches love to have 2nd down and 4, and this has been a team that's been very successful running the football on 1st down to put the offense in makeable 2nd and 3rd down situations. But they've got to protect Brecky, their quarterback, in passing downs if they want to succeed and have some balance on offense.
Brecky hands off. Coppage runs into a wall, bounces to the outside, and he's got the 1st down. That is what Lavelle Coppage can do for you. He has got great vision and patience.
Yeah, the diminutive stature there. He kind of gets lost behind the line of scrimmage. You're going to see him right there dip back inside. Linebacker flow for Mount Union follows him there, and then he pops back out because you can't see him. You lose vision of the 5'8", 170-pounder.
After a 3 and out on their first possession of the 2nd half, Whitewater has its first down. 1st and 10 at the 45. Again, it's Coppage. And this time, a pickup of 2. Matt Fetchko, the rookie defensive tackle, who has been a consistent run stopper this year for the Raiders, making the tackle.
You know, I'm a little surprised with the strength of the run game in Wisconsin Whitewater, the zone blocking scheme up front, that we haven't seen more of a bootleg package with quarterback Lee Brecky, where you're gonna fake the zone run to one side, come out and roll out, change the launch point in the passing game. It's a great 2nd and long play call. Some point or another may see it here this afternoon or this evening.
Booker Stanley checks in and running back, and he'll get it on a deep handoff, picking his way across the midfield stripe and down at the 49-yard line. 3rd down and 5 on the way. Booker Stanley, 27 years old, once a member of the Wisconsin Badgers team. He was kicked off that football team in late 2005 after getting in trouble with the law, looking for a 2nd chance here at Wisconsin Whitewater.
He's had a shoulder injury. He's missed 3 games, so it's been difficult for him to get into the fold with a guy like Lavelle Coppage in an 1,800-yard season.
Brecky pressured, dumps it off underneath. And a nice catch by Huber, who had that excellent touchdown reception in the 1st half. He gains 3 here, well short of the 1st down. So 4th down in a punting situation for the Warhawks.
Maybe a punting situation for Wisconsin Whitewater, Clay, but if you look at the field position, if they get a good kick here, now you're talking about, once again, put your defense on a long field and make Mount Union earn it every step of the way.
Cecil Shorts standing at the 10-yard line. He calls for a fair catch. It's going to sail over his head, bounces inside the 5-yard line and checks up. Are they going to say it got into the end zone? Yes, it did. It is going to be a touchback. Excellent punt, but about a ½ yard off of where the kicker wanted it to be. There is all-conference punter Chris Rosholt for Wisconsin Whitewater. He almost pinned Mount Union down inside the 5 with this kick. And look at how close this was. It checked up and was handled inside the 5-yard line, but you can see it touched just on the line.
Still a beautiful punt, and could have pinned Mount Union back and had to go 99 yards. Instead, a little breathing room now for the Purple Raiders as they start this thing off at the 20-yard line.
Matt Pilato, who found his groove in the 2nd quarter, goes back to work on offense. Pressured from behind. Got rid of it to Shorts. Shorts coming back. Now cuts back the other way. He's got a 1st down and more. There is a flag down behind the play. Boy, Cecil Shorts is elusive. Noah Tim, the nickelback, finally escorted him out of bounds. There is a marker down. 25-yard play for Shorts, but it's going to be wiped out, it looks like.
And they're going to call holding, obviously at the point of attack on this quick screen between an offensive player from Mount Union.
Holding, number 11 of the offense, will penalize 10 yards from the previous spot. It remains first down.
And that's tight end Kyle Miller, who went in motion to block the player that was covering Cecil Shorts the third. Apparently he just gets his hands on the outside, and anytime you see cloth separating from the defender, you know you're going to might have a holding call. And once again, you see Matt Pilato getting hammered by Luke Hibner, number 53, from his defensive tackle position.
Just the second Mount Union penalty here tonight. It has been a pretty clean game on both sides. Pilato into the flat. Murray incomplete. And this is similar to the way the game started for Pilato and Mount Union's offense.
It is. I could tell you right now, just from the visual, that he didn't need halftime to happen. He just needed the next series to begin. And, you know, I will say this about what coaches call the wide route or the swing route. That throw to the left side, when you're dropping back and your vision and your feet are all forward, and then all of a sudden you got to throw the ball to your left to a moving target that's somewhat moving wide and forward, that's a very, very difficult throw for quarterbacks.
Pilato has missed his last 6 throws. On 2nd and 20, this is caught at the 15-yard line. Catch made by Brandon Brown, and gets back close to the original line of scrimmage, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and long. McCullum in on the tackle. Pilato was on Mount Union's junior varsity last year. He redshirted at Division I South Florida back in 2007. Things did not work out there. Decided he wanted to go to a place where he had a chance to play. He thought Mount Union was going to give him that best opportunity, and here he is, playing in the national championship game.
In the national championship game, and one thing that I keep seeing for him that I think is a huge positive for the future is in the face of the rush, his eyes never come down. He's constantly keeping his focus downfield.
Play fake. Pilato has time, steps up in the pocket, complete out to the 30-yard line. Jasper Collins, a pickup of 14, and that's going to be a 1st down for Mount Union. Jasper Collins has had, well, hold on. They are going to spot it just short of the 1st down marker, it appears.
That's very good ball handling.
He got it.
He does get a 1st down. The ball handling on behalf of Matt Pilato, your quarterback, on the play action pass and then throwing the deep comeback route to the near sideline. Very impressive fundamentally there from the young sophomore quarterback, as you mentioned, from Rotunda West, Florida.
5 catches now, 74 yards for Collins. Suffered that hand injury in the first half, as Jessica Mendoza talked about, but he's fighting through it. Another play fake. Pilato wants to throw again. Going deep downfield, looking for Collins again, and was it picked off? Yes. Intercepted by Whitewater at the 25. Steve McCullum. Interception thrown by Pilato today.
Number 9, Steve McCullum. This is off of play action once again. He's on the hash. You can see him there at the top of the screen. But look at him track the ball at one direction and then look at the receiver and turn around in the opposite direction to bring the ball in. And he has got to corral that football, and he does before he lands out of bounds. He clearly secures that ball. What a fantastic play by McCullum.
And now here's Booker Stanley again. He is a powerful runner. Hasn't had a ton of opportunity to show his wares this year. Picks up 6 on that carry. 2nd down and 4.
This is where the identity of Wisconsin Whitewater football manifests itself. They have opportunities. They're ahead in the second half. They're going to rely on their offensive line and the stable of running backs at their disposal to win the football game. They're not playing to not lose. They're not playing to be conservative. They're doing what they do best. And that in and of itself drains the clock and gives them advantages.
2nd down and 4. Stanley And he has a Wisconsin Whitewater first down, and no surprise, it's the left side again behind Ustruck and Weber, the all-conference tackle and guard.
Yeah, these guys got multiple bell cows in the corral. They really do. And they rely on them. They're able to stay healthy. They deliver. And what's killing Mount Union right now is they are unable to run the football. Then they turn the ball over to a team that is capable of running the football, and they may not, as a result, have enough series in the game to stay in this thing.
3 interceptions thrown by Mount Union today. That is tied for the most this season for the Purple Raiders. And it's Booker Stanley. He'll pick up a couple. A flag comes in. Driscoll made the stop. There is a marker down.
Personal foul, face mask, number 91 of the defense, 15 yards to the end of the run, automatic first down.
That's a big mistake for Mount Union. Matt Fetchko, the rookie defensive tackle out of Twinsburg, Ohio, called for the face mask.
Yes, and self-inflicted wounds, and you see it right there as Fetchko is kind of reaching around the pile. Self-inflicted wounds, uncharacteristic of this football team on the Mount Union sideline, extending this drive for Wisconsin Whitewater.
Into Mount Union territory now. Stanley gets it. Nothing up the middle. Kicks it to the outside and run down from behind by Driscoll. Holy cow. He is everywhere today.
Nick Driscoll has made plays in pass defense, as we saw in the first quarter. He's made multiple tackles behind the line of scrimmage, tackles for loss. He's been in tremendous pursuit and has not been blocked at the point of attack yet by Wisconsin Whitewater tonight on offense.
Well, it is apparent that they have decided that this series, Booker Stanley is going to feature prominently. He stays in the game at tailback. As Lavelle Coppage, who has been a workhorse, is on the sideline. Stanley again. Stopped at the 45 by Sam Kershaw, the weak side linebacker. And the veteran captain of that Mount Union defense. 3rd down and 7 on the way.
Yeah, and Lavelle Coppage is going to come back in here for 3rd down. Very interested to see what Wisconsin Whitewater decides to do here. Because keep in mind, if you're Steve Dinkle, the offensive coordinator at Whitewater, you are keeping a close eye on Mount Union and how many bodies they start inching towards the line of scrimmage to load up to stop the run, which could give you downfield passing opportunities here on 3rd down.
54% during the year on 3rd down. 5th best in the nation. Whitewater to throw. Intercepted. Caught at the 10-yard line by the defensive back Isaiah Scott. And Mount Union will get the football back here. Down 3 with 5:05 to go in the 3rd.
Intercepted, but the equivalent of a punt, if not better than a punt that goes into the end zone. Mount Union starts on their own 10-yard line, now has to go the full distance, 90 yards of scoring. And so Mount Union staying alive on defense with an interception, down by 3.
Welcome back to the NCAA Division III Football Championship here in Salem, Virginia. Presented on ESPNU by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Wisconsin Whitewater and Mount Union playing this one out as we would have expected. Close contest, 24-21, 5:05 to go in the 3rd. Mount Union taking over after an interception at the 10-yard line. Here is Matt Pilato, the quarterback. Made his first career start here tonight. He's incomplete. 2nd down coming up. ESPN, the home court of college hoops tonight. 2 games coming your way. First at 7, Detroit and Central Michigan. Then Cincinnati and Oklahoma at 9. Holiday Hoops presented by K Jewelers later tonight. Nice doubleheader for you on ESPNU. So far in the second half, 5 combined drives, 3 punts, a pair of interceptions. Each team has turned it over 3 times. Pilato on 2nd down, flares it out. Caught in the backfield. And this is going to be a short gain for Cecil Shorts the third. Max Ford, who has had an excellent game defensively for Whitewater, in on the stop. So third down and long coming up for the Raiders, and they're in a tough situation here, field position-wise.
Well, they're in a real tough situation, and they got to be very careful with the football here. The Wisconsin Whitewater defense has a long field behind them. They've only given up one big play the entire game, and that was the touchdown to Cecil Shorts the third in the second quarter. They can't allow a big play here on third down.
Pilato throws, caught. First down. Brandon Brown with a huge reception. Tom, before that catch, Mount Union had not had a drive longer than 4 plays in their last 9 drives. They absolutely had to have that.
They had to have that for a couple of reasons. Number one, get out of a hole. They had to get out of a hole. Number two, get the confidence factor back with your quarterback, who was sky high in the second quarter, did not play well in the first quarter, and now finally has a quality throw here on this drive.
Pilato sends 5 receivers out. As usual, out of the gun, throws over the middle. It's complete to Shorts. Gets over the 30, out at the 32-yard line. Cecil Shorts the third, the senior out of Cleveland, Ohio. He sprained his toe. Call it turf toe, and it doesn't sound painful, but it forced him to miss a month of play this season. Still, he has managed to be the biggest player on the offensive side of the ball for this team.
You can't heal it because you can't ever get off your feet. So you're constantly battling it.
Delayed handoff to Murray. Penalty flag. He gets to the 40-yard line and a first down, but this is probably coming back. A holding call likely to come up here against the offensive line, and that will be the call. That's one of the better runs we've seen from Murray here in a while, and it's going to be wiped out.
It's going to be wiped out, and we'll get the call on the guilty culprit here.
Holding, number 57 of the offense, will penalize 10 yards from the previous spot. It remains second down.
John Nikolazakis, and he's in a position where there's some penetration at the point of attack on behalf of Wisconsin Whitewater in their defensive front. He gets overextended. He bends over at the waist, and next thing you know, you're pulling guys to the ground. That's what they're going to get you on.
Nikolazakis, 6'1", 320, a big, strong. He's the heaviest O-lineman for Mount Union by far.
He's what you'd call a two-gapper.
He takes up some space. Low snap. Pilato adjusts well, throws, and on a crossing pattern, it is Shorts again. And maybe little or no gain on that play. In fact, a loss of one as Steve McCullum makes another big play. This junior out of Farmington, Michigan.
Now, as I mentioned, outside of a big, long touchdown in the first half to Shorts, this Wisconsin Whitewater defense has corralled number 10, the most exciting offensive player at the Division III level. And without a running game for Mount Union, and when you keep the ball in front of you with Cecil Shorts, there's not many more options to go to offensively.
3rd and 11. Play fake. Pilato. Incomplete. Nice coverage in the secondary by McCulloch. This secondary for Whitewater has been fantastic here tonight.
They've done 2 great things. Number 1, they've kept the ball in front of them. Number 2, they've played great angles to the football. Undercuts that right there by number 23, Matt McCulloch, and just sharp enough to get a hand on it. You don't always have to make the interception. You don't always have to make the big hit. What you do got to do is force the opposition to punt. That's what we've got here.
That defense for Whitewater has forced 11 turnovers in the last 3 weeks. And they're going to whistle this dead at the 49-yard line. 2:34 to go in the third. It's a 3-point lead for the defending champs. Alongside former Georgia Tech quarterback Tom Luganbill, I'm Clay Matvick. We are in Salem, Virginia tonight for Stagg Bowl 38, otherwise known as the Division III National Championship game. And these 2 teams have battled each and every year since 2005 for this trophy. Right now, Wisconsin-Whitewater, the defending national champs, lead it by a field goal with 2:34 to go here in the third quarter. And the Warhawks going back to work on offense. It's Lavelle Coppage. He finds a seam inside the 40. Still on his feet and down finally at the 26-yard line. Boy, is he a hard worker. The junior out of Oak Park, Illinois, ripping off 25 yards.
You don't rush for 1,800 yards on a 5'8", 170-pound frame unless you can break tackles and break the first attempted tackle. And that's what we see Coppage do right here. Once again, great vision in the backfield to avoid penetration, exploit the cutback lane. Wow, what a day he's having.
27 carries, 197, and a pair of touchdowns. Here he goes again, and this time he cannot spin out of the arms of Frank Orteca, the sophomore nose guard. That Mount Union rushing defense coming into the game 9th in the nation at just over 72 yards allowed per game. Tonight, 213.
213, and this defense, keep in mind, has been on the field an awful lot because of the ineffectiveness of the Mount Union offense, which isn't usually the case for this football team.
Brecky, deep drop, quickly throws to the end zone, and is it picked off? Yes, it is. Another interception, and it's Alex Ferrara, the free safety, picking off Brecky. That is the third time he has thrown a pick tonight.
Not to diminish the effort on behalf of Alex Ferrara, number 7, but this is a ball that you cannot throw to the inside. This ball, off of the play action, the quarterback's got to control the safety with his eyes, chin, and shoulders and get that ball to the outside, where one of two things happen. My guy catches it, or we play the next down. By throwing this ball to the inside, Alex Ferrara's got a beeline to it, and Aaron Roosh has no choice but to just try and become the defender. That ball's got to be thrown on the outside, and that is what Coach Lance Leipold's going to be telling his quarterback on the sideline.
Brecky, the last two possessions for Whitewater have resulted in him throwing an interception. And on first down, a short run for Jeremy Murray. 7 combined turnovers tonight, and especially for Mount Union. Turnover margin has been so key over the last 15 years or so. 108-0 is Mount Union when they win the turnover battle.
But here's what's so staggering is, and we'll continue talking turnovers here.
Here is Murray again. And again, no operating room. Third down and long coming up.
The mere fact that turnovers are occurring. Wisconsin-Whitewater on the year is plus 25. I mean, that's out of the stratosphere. Mount Union plus 18 on the season. So the mere fact that the ball is even being turned over is what's so staggering.
Right. Under a half minute to go here in the third. And another third down and long. It seems like here in the second half, Matt Pilato and this Mount Union offense have been in third and long situations just about every series. Penalty flag.
Dead ball, false start, 68 of the offense, 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
5th penalty against Mount Union. It's Matt Maddox, number 68.
A little antsy up front. Now, keep in mind, we talked about how staggering the turnovers have been. Both of these teams have been off the charts in third down conversion as well. 51% on the year for Mount Union, 54% for Wisconsin-Whitewater as we head into the fourth quarter here. But neither team been overly effective tonight on third down.
We had a shootout in the first half, a lot of points. No points for either team in that third quarter. This one will be decided in the fourth. There's still a great game going on here. 24-21. a look at the game summary. 7 combined drives in that third quarter. 4 punts, 3 interceptions. Turnovers have become a story here. We'll go to the fourth with Whitewater leading by a field goal.
Well, they certainly have become the story here. In fact, between the last 2 quarterbacks and their combined 5 pass attempts, 0 for 5, 3 interceptions for both Brecky and Pilato.
Trying to convert a big third down here. 3rd and 13. Pilato hit, incomplete. Wesley Hicks, the defensive tackle, hit Pilato, and the punter comes out again for Mount Union.
Pressure bursts the pipe, and on 3rd down, when you got a 3rd and long situation, you're backed up a little bit. Wisconsin Whitewater cranks it up front, and now once again, field position. You've heard me touch on it. Great field position opportunity for Wisconsin Whitewater here on offense.
Brandon Matty will come out to punt for the 6th time tonight for Mount Union. Shane Covington, who has yet to return a punt, is back deep. Ranges over, catches it at the 46-yard line, and is hit immediately. Well, Whitewater has turned the ball over 4 times here tonight. You take those away, and it really has a feel that Whitewater has controlled this game here tonight.
Well, they have controlled the game, and Coach Lance Leipold realizes that if he gets his team into the 4th quarter, that's where they can take over up front and grind you down. Keep in mind, offensive football is about 2 things: matchups and exploitation. How do I match up my best guy on your worst guy, or how do I exploit your weakness with our strength? Well, right now the strength for Wisconsin Whitewater is the left side of that offensive front, and that's what they've been going to here.
On the left side is Ustruck and Weber. And lo and behold, here we go again. It's Lavelle Coppage right behind the 2 seniors. Ustruck out of West Allis, Wisconsin, and Weber out of Oregon, Wisconsin. And Coppage now at the 200-yard mark, just a yard shy, and it has been an exceptional effort from Lavelle Coppage. And I'm sure that Lance Leipold didn't expect anything else from his junior.
Well, he certainly has been the bell cow, and Booker Stanley spelled him here and there, but it's been about Coppage in the run game tonight.
On 2nd down, another nice run into Mount Union territory. Now let's get an update from Lowell Galindo.
Yeah, Clay, today in college basketball, all about big shots, big performances from freshmen. In the case of Texas and North Carolina, the freshman from Canada, Corey Joseph, putting it down. North Carolina called a timeout, had a shot, but Texas holds on to win by 2. Clay.
Okay, Lowell, thank you very much. 3rd down coming up here for Wisconsin Whitewater. And like you said, if they can keep possession of the football, keep grinding it out on the ground, it appears that there is little that Mount Union is going to be able to do about it. Whitewater here, 5 of 12 tonight on 3rd down conversion attempts, and Brecky wants to call a timeout.
Well, they call a timeout as Lance Leipold, the head coach on the Wisconsin Whitewater sideline, very concerned about how they were lined up, didn't want to blow an opportunity on an important 3rd down conversion.
13:21 to go. Wisconsin Whitewater called a timeout, leading by 3 with 13:21 to go. This is a huge drive and a big 3rd down and 2 coming up. Mount Union has brought their star player from offense out on the field defensively, but now they are making a late change, and Cecil Shorts is on the sideline. What do you make of that?
Well, if he's your best athlete and you're down a man on defense, get him on the field.
Out of the timeout, Brecky under center, but now a timeout called by Coach Karras in Mount Union.
Mount Union's got 12 guys on the field here after running a defensive lineman onto the field late.
Defense, their first of the half.
Number 94, Chris Favazzo, coming on the field late.
So now both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. These teams meeting for the 6th consecutive year. Let's compare it to some of the professional sports. A lot of meetings between the Lakers and Celtics. Yankees and Dodgers have met 11 times. Bruins, Canadiens, Red Wings, Maple Leafs in hockey, 7 apiece. And in football, the Giants and Bears, before the Super Bowls, they met for the NFL championship 6 times. 6 meetings between these two programs. What does it say about the strength of these two programs?
The ability, it's hard enough to prepare to win one time. But when you've got to play a 10-game regular season and then navigate a 32-team bracket in cold weather environments, inclement weather conditions, it's amazing what these two programs have been able to do.
And especially Wisconsin-Whitewater this year. The 4 playoff games before the Stagg Bowl, 2 at home, but 2 on the road at North Central and at Wesley. They won them both together. Huge third down. Coppage straight ahead. It's going to depend on the spot. Doesn't look like he got it. Sam Kershaw made the tackle, and it's going to be 4th down.
Once again to the left side. He just gets his shoulder down short. Brings on the punting unit for Wisconsin-Whitewater.
So Cecil Shorts goes back to return for Mount Union. Rosholt comes out again. This should pin Mount Union fairly deep. Rosholt bounces at the 5 and out of bounds at the 1.
He has been money tonight, Chris Rosholt. Number 18, the punter. Remember back in the 3rd quarter with the punt that hit the goal line, backed into the field of play. It was called a touchback, but wow.
The junior from Reedsburg, Wisconsin, pinning Mount Union at their own 1-yard line. Jessica.
Well, Chris Roswell, the reason why he's been able to have so much success this year is he lost 25 pounds. He really got into his workouts. He tried P90X. And he also went on a diet. Tom, I know you've tried P90X yourself, but it's something that Roswell has attributed to his own success.
I could lose 20 myself. Here's Cecil Shorts, the 3rd. He is running out of the Wildcat, and he gets it out to the 5 to give Mount Union a little breathing room.
I'm going to get you on some P90X, Clay.
I need something. But now with the holidays coming, it's probably a futile effort anyway.
There's no doubt.
Matt Pilato on the sideline. They are going with Shorts.
I think they're going with the guy that's going to give them the best opportunity to get out of this hole, at least initially in this drive, where they can run the football with a good athlete that can make some people miss and maybe see Pilato come back. Right now, you've got about 5 guys in the box. They've got the numbers in their favor.
Shorts wants to throw. Coming back to the ball is Collins. And gets out to the 15 and a 1st down.
This is the curl flat combination. Inside receiver is going to run out to the flat. Outside receiver is going to run the curl. You look at Cecil Shorts. Knows where he wants to go with the football. Nice over-the-top quick delivery. Throws it with authority. Play the next play.
Cecil Shorts, an All-American at wide receiver, but again came to Mount Union as a quarterback. This is not foreign territory for the senior from Cleveland. 1st down and 10. Mount Union down a field goal. Shorts will take the direct snap and send it to the far side. Hit hard. Greg Arnold, the middle linebacker, made the stop, lost it out of bounds, and the Raiders will keep it.
Initially a terrific block at the point of attack by Jeremy Murray, number 24, to allow Cecil Shorts to get to the perimeter. But then the pursuit, and you see the ball in the wrong hand with Cecil Shorts. The hat by Greg Arnold, number 51, right on the football. If that ball's in the outside hand for Cecil Shorts, that doesn't occur.
Second and 9. Shorts throws. Complete. Caught by Brown. And he is out of bounds after a gain of 5. Jared Keesow, the right corner, made the tackle. So 3rd down and about 4.
The interesting thing to see is whether or not Wisconsin-Whitewater will come after Cecil Shorts, because if they do, if they go in a cover 0 concept where it's man-to-man across the board, no safety help behind them, and there is any type of running lane within the pocket, Cecil Shorts could exploit that and go for a 70, 80-yard touchdown, because he's that type of athlete. So you've got to be very careful blitzing or applying pressure to Cecil Shorts here.
Zach Lemon checks in the backfield. He is in the right, on the right of Shorts. In trouble. Switches back the other way. Shorts has room and a first down and more. Out at the 40-yard line, Cecil Shorts with an 18-yard run. It appears he is ready to take this team on his back.
It's a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare to have to attribute for the run game within the quarterback. Before, this was a one-dimensional team in Mount Union offensively with Matt Pilato as a passer. Now Cecil Shorts making something out of nothing, using his legs to keep the play alive. And for defensive coordinator Brian Borland, he is rubbing his forehead right now going, oh, geez. Now we got to deal with the quarterback in the run game. That is a scary notion in the fourth quarter.
Shorts gets some pressure up the middle, got rid of it in a hurry. Brandon Brown the catch, and another Mount Union first down. This is reminiscent of last year's semifinals when Cecil Shorts was put in at quarterback, and it really ignited the offense and helped Mount Union come from behind to get him to the Stagg Bowl. And here is Shorts again in the national championship game a year later, put in a similar role.
I love what the coaching staff at Mount Union's doing right now. Very short, simple, easy throws for their quarterback.
Shorts feels the heat, steps up, ball comes loose, and it looks like Wisconsin-Whitewater has it. Yes, they do. Stephen McCullum with the fumble recovery, and Whitewater dodges a huge bullet.
They dodge a huge bullet, and that time Whitewater did decide to come after him. They had the perfect play call on offensively. Mount Union runs the quarterback draw. Cecil Shorts sees it, makes a guy miss, gets upfield, but in hot pursuit. Number 55, Josh Williams. His linebacker position along with number 9, Stephen McCullum, strips that ball out. And McCullum, number 9, actually overruns the play, but as he's going by, swipes the hand, the ball comes out in Wisconsin-Whitewater. Good field position. And the ball, most importantly, the ball, possession of the football.
9.5 to go. Brecky hands off to Coppage, and he bangs his way into Mount Union territory down to the 46. Turnovers now 4 apiece, but they have seemingly stung Mount Union more.
They have stung Mount Union more, and the reason why is because Mount Union's offensive possessions have not been long. They have not been well established. So when you give up the football after not really producing, it stings.
As you might expect, they're going to stay with Coppage. He is going to be stopped close to the first down. It's a gain of 2. Favazzo, the nose guard, made the tackle. 10 combined drives here in the second half. 6 punts, 3 interceptions, and a fumble. We have had no points here since halftime. It is a first down for Whitewater. They keep possession. More importantly for the Warhawks, that clock keeps ticking.
And more importantly for the Warhawks, Cecil Shorts is on the sideline and not carrying the football.
He was moving that Mount Union offense before the fumble. And give Coppage 3 more yards. Home court of college hoops tonight. A couple of games for you. First at 7 Eastern. It's a family affair with 2 highly talented recruits playing for their father and coach. As Ray McCallum in Detroit take on Trey Ziegler and Central Michigan. Then action continues at 9 Eastern with the 2010 Lane Furniture All-College Classic, Cincinnati and Oklahoma. 7 and 9 tonight, presented by Kay Jewelers. Second down and 7 for Whitewater. 7.5 to go. Coppage again. To the 40, penalty flags fly. Charles Diesel wrapping up Coppage. Going to get a marker down. And this is going to go against Whitewater.
The left side of the offensive front. been so dominant here tonight, getting called for an infraction.
During the run, holding number 75 of the offense will penalize 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It remains second down.
Robbie Ustruck, first team all-conference, all-region. Left tackle. Called for the penalty.
You get your hands on the outside once again, and that player starts to come away from you. You see jersey tear away. You're asking for a call.
Brecky looking to throw. Incomplete. Aaron Roosh, the intended receiver, third down and long. Brecky, again, a transfer from UW-La Crosse, and in Division III, you're able to play right away. So the sophomore getting a chance here for Wisconsin Whitewater. Matt Blanchard, first team all-conference during the regular year, but a sprained thumb on his throwing hand in the last game of the regular season gave Brecky his opportunity. And even though he's thrown some interceptions here today, he's done a nice job managing the game.
He has, and keep in mind the importance of the punter, Chris Rochholt. In this situation here, they don't have to be a hero on third down. What they've got to do is play field position.
Shorts is in on defense. Deep handoff to Coppage, and he is stopped. Nick Driscoll again. It's a loss of one, and you're right, the punter will factor huge here.
He's the key. He's been the guy all night that has been able to put this Wisconsin Whitewater defense on a long field and force Mount Union to execute. And what we have seen consistently is that Mount Union has turned the ball over, has not been able to execute and go the difference the majority of the night.
Jordan and Shorts are both back deep for Mount Union. Rochholt. And this one actually sails out of bounds inside the 20. They are going to mark it out at the 17-yard line. The NCAA Division III College Football Championship is presented on ESPNU by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. A lot of points scored in that second quarter, but here in the second half, the game has turned into a contest of defense and field position. And right now, Mount Union looking at a long field, but they've got plenty of time on the clock and a pair of timeouts, down 3. Cecil Shorts the third completes his pass to Kyle Miller, and they are going to stay with Shorts even though he turned it over on a fumble last series.
He gives them the best chance to win right now because he's dynamic. He forces the defense to account for his legs in the run game, of which has been non-existent until his interest in the game. And keep in mind, Mount Union's last 3 drives, their own 18, their own 1, and their own 20.
Shorts wants to throw. Little pressure, now steps up, finds a crack, and gets down to the 23-yard line. Back to the line of scrimmage, no gain. The FCS Football Championship game live on ESPN2 at 7 Eastern, Friday, January 7th from Frisco, Texas. For more information on the FCS Football Championship, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. Delaware and Eastern Washington in the FCS title game. And congratulations to Minnesota Duluth, which won in Division II earlier today. Second title for the Bulldogs this decade. Third down and 5. Bad snap. Shorts throws across, his body hits Miller. He's got a first down and a blocker. Out to the 45-yard line. Kyle Reese finally got him. It's a 22-yard run.
Keep in mind, Wisconsin Whitewater is so concerned about Mount Union's ability to run the football now with Cecil Shorts at quarterback that they over-pursue. It's a great play call on behalf of Zach Roney, the offensive coordinator for Mount Union, on the tight end throwback screen.
Shorts will keep it himself. And hit immediately by Greg Arnold. It's a gain of 1. 2nd down and 9 with 4.5 to go.
Well, that is an absolute terrific open field tackle, because if Greg Arnold, number 51 there, doesn't make that tackle, Shorts could be off to the races.
And that's really the MO of Arnold. He is an unsung hero on this defense. If you talk to Brian Borland, the defensive coordinator, he missed 5 weeks last year with a broken leg, and having him healthy this year has been everything for this Whitewater defense. 2nd down and 9. Shorts hit and down. Down at the 37, Luke Hibner came in on a blitz and leveled it.
Well, right now, as you see the line stunt with Wisconsin Whitewater, as well as the blitzing linebacker, when you don't block the A gap, the gap to either side of the center between both guards, you're providing the shortest distance to the quarterback and nowhere for him to go with the football.
Hibner, the senior out of Elmhurst, Illinois, puts Mount Union in a 3rd and 18 with just over 3 minutes to go. Shorts over the middle. Incomplete. Tipped by Greg Arnold. What a series for him, and it's 4th down for Mount Union.
Your unsung hero right there. Greg Arnold, number 51. He's dropping back into coverage, keying the quarterback with Cecil Shorts, throws the ball, and he just barely tips it late. And Mount Union here, in essence, forced to punt the football for 2 reasons. Number 1, they can't afford for Wisconsin Whitewater to be able to run it, and even if they stopped them, look where they'd pin them back to if they punted.
Matty has not had a good day punting the football. Hits down at the 33, takes a good Mount Union roll. And then Covington dives on it at the 20. 2:57 to go. Welcome back to the NCAA Division III Football Championship, presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Wisconsin Whitewater leading by 3 with under 3 minutes to go, and they have the football at their own 21-yard line. How many first downs do they need to run out the clock, Tom?
Well, the over-under is 2, and I'm going to say 3.
Brecky, handoff. And Lavelle Coppage will pick up a handful, and a timeout called for by Larry Karras. And Mount Union has 1 remaining. The home court of college hoops is ESPN. And Sunday afternoon, UConn's women's program tries to get 88 straight wins. They'll take on Ohio State in the Maggie Dixon Classic as part of Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers. It comes your way at 2 Eastern on ESPNU. Some key stats today. We'll look at the turnovers, 4 apiece, but again, said it before, the turnovers for Whitewater haven't been nearly as damaging.
They haven't, but these 4 stats right here, by and large, if you win 3 of these 4, you're not losing the game. If you're splitting it 2-2, right now, these teams are split at 2-2. If you're splitting it 2-2, usually there's a kicking game component that has made a difference. Well, guess who that's been tonight? Chris Rochholt, the punter, because he's dictated field position. That's been the balancing act right there. But this bottom one right here, what you saw right there, rush attempts, that's an indicator of who's in control of the game and who is not having to play catch-up. Tonight, that's been Wisconsin Whitewater.
The defending national champs have possession. Big stop. Matt Fetchko, the defensive tackle. 3rd down now for Whitewater. And Mount Union uses its final timeout. We step aside. Leipold, the fourth-year head coach of Wisconsin Whitewater. You can see on third down today, his team 5 of 14. They were 54% essentially on the season, which led their conference. And here is a big third down coming up after the timeout. 3rd down and 6. They can keep the clock moving if they pick this up. Coppage escapes. He could be gone. Lavelle Coppage, touchdown. They needed 6. He gave them 75.
It's not about running the ball when you have to, as much as it's about running the ball when you want to. And when you commit essentially all 11 guys to the line of scrimmage to stop the run, play, there's nobody on the back end to help you out if you break through to the second level. And credit the offensive front for Wisconsin Whitewater and then Lavelle Coppage for doing the rest. Look at how many bodies are going to end up being towards the line of scrimmage in this, and what a great way to finish a drive on a 3rd down, a must need, than to get a touchdown.
For the second year in a row, a late touchdown by Coppage is going to be the difference.
You see the patience and the ability to just kind of wait just that split second. Find that crease, sneak through it. Terrific overall quickness. Lavelle Coppage is a darter. Darts here, darts there, squeaks through tiny creases, and off to the races.
Last year, Coppage had a 31-yard touchdown run with 1:17 left. It broke a tie, and Whitewater went on to win it by 10. He was named the Stagg Bowl MVP after 111 yards and 3 touchdowns. Well, tonight, he outdoes himself. 299 yards on the ground, a Stagg Bowl record. Now, we really shouldn't bury Mount Union here just yet. I mean, we have seen this program rise from the dead in games before. And they are down 10. It doesn't look good right now for Larry Karras' squad, but there is still 2:34 to go. And with Cecil Shorts, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and you hate to have had to have burned your timeouts, but in essence, you had to give yourself a chance on offense.
Shorts is going to field this off the ground, and he's going to get to the 30-yard line and then be driven down. And they will start at the 29. Let's go back to 2007 when Wisconsin Whitewater, under their first-year head coach Lance Leipold, got a great game from Justin Beaver and won a championship. First in program history. Then in 2009, Lavelle Coppage, there's that run I was alluding to with 1:17 left to break the tie. They would add a field goal, win it 38-28, and they're trying to repeat here.
Well, that long 79-yard touchdown run actually helped Mount Union,
because it happened so quickly. And Pilato back in the game. Incomplete.
The ideal situation would have been for Lavelle Coppage to convert, and then the game is over because Mount Union can't stop the clock. No timeouts left, but by scoring, getting the ball back for Mount Union. Now we'll see if the Wisconsin Whitewater defense can hold true.
Coppage in the playoffs this year, nearly 1,000 yards rushing. That's 5 games.
5 games.
And he's got 10 touchdowns in the postseason.
And you wonder why they're here?
Pilato. Deep downfield. There's Shorts and just out of the reach of Cecil Shorts, the third down. Got to ask you about Lavelle Coppage. We've been talking about shorts, maybe getting a chance at the next level. Would somebody take a chance on this young man?
I think it's going to depend on how he tests in terms of time-wise. Pro days, things of that nature. His 40 time is going to be scrutinized because if you're going to be a 5'8", 170-pound back, you had better have some kickoff and punt return capabilities, and you better be a jet. And that's what's going to keep you in contention to make a roster.
Third down. Pilato. He's going to run. And he is going to be stopped very close to where he needed to get for the first down. Josh Williams, the weak side linebacker, brought him down, and we'll see if he got the first. Well, they're going to have to measure. So the clock stops with 2:07 to go.
That weighs into Mount Union's favor as well. A timeout they didn't have.
Alliance, Ohio, where Mount Union is located. Just 6 hours from Salem, Virginia. Great crowd has traveled to see their team. And they just saw them pick up a much-needed first down. So a fresh set of downs here with 2:07 to go. And the ball at their own 39-yard line.
See Larry Karras there, the head coach from Mount Union. Been here before. 10 of the last 17 NCAA Division III championships sit in Alliance, Ohio.
Pilato on first down. Has a lot of time. He'll come underneath. Caught at the 40 by Murray. And he quickly gets out of bounds at the 46-yard line. And it stops with 1:58 to go.
They're going to have to start taking some shots downfield, and they've got to be very careful because the natural tendency is going to be for Matt Pilato to zero in on number 10, Cecil Shorts, who's going to be drawing a considerable amount of coverage, I would imagine.
Lines up in the slot. Pilato takes a look at him. Goes to a different receiver. It's Brown. And Brown has a first down. And quickly, they hustle up to the line.
Well, that time, Wisconsin Whitewater matched up a linebacker in Lane Olson on Cecil Shorts. That's a mismatch in a matchup that Mount Union needs to exploit if they could get it again.
Clock starts to move again after they move the chains. Pilato throws, caught inside the 30 at the 28-yard line by Shorts. Another first down. The clock will stop momentarily to move the first down chains. And Mount Union will quickly call another play.
Yeah, they've got to have a play called here. They can't down it here. They've got to run a play with the stoppage of the clock due to the first down.
Pilato hit and dragged down at the 40-yard line. Jake Keyser, the defensive end, with maybe the biggest play of his season.
Biggest play of his season and maybe his football team's season. You cannot take a sack right there.
A loss of 11, and now Mount Union has to spike it because they're out of timeouts.
Coach Lance Leipold on the opposite sideline for Wisconsin Whitewater, not very happy with the celebration there. He's saying, get back on defense. They're going to run to the line of scrimmage real quickly and run a play. That's the coach understanding the moment. And getting your team to understand the moment is the key.
They need to get to the 19-yard line for a first down, but right now the most important thing is to make things happen quickly. Down 10, 1 minute and 11 seconds to go. And movement on the right side of the Mount Union line.
Yeah. Prior to the snap, false start, number 58 of the offense, 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
Once again, self-inflicted penalties. This time on Sandy Guerrero from his left tackle spot. Number 58 for Mount Union.
Pilato feeling some heat, steps up, looking downfield, throws toward the end zone. Underthrown, tipped, and incomplete. Jared Keesow, the cornerback. Great coverage. And it's going to bring up 4th down.
It's going to bring up 4th down. And if Matt Pilato would have pulled the ball down and ran, he may have ran for 20 yards, if not more than that. And keeping his eyes downfield, I understand he needs to try and get that ball downfield and make a big play. But, boy, it would have been a more manageable 4th down conversion try had he gained some valuable yards with his legs.
So it all comes down to this play to keep Mount Union's season alive. Pilato throws, intercepted. Matt McCulloch, his 2nd interception today, and Wisconsin Whitewater is going to win back-to-back national titles.
And I bet you Lance Leipold was hoping that was hot tea, because he just got doused with pneumonia waiting to happen.
You know what? I'll bet he doesn't mind right now.
He doesn't mind, that's right. 3-man rush. Credit Wisconsin Whitewater, still getting a hit on the quarterback. Number 99, Casey Casper. That ball flies up in the air, and celebration ensues on the Wisconsin Whitewater sideline.
Lance Leipold has been on the job at Whitewater as the head coach for 4 seasons, and he is going to win his 3rd title.
As close as this score has been, the game was in control because of one distinct element, and that is Wisconsin Whitewater's ability to run the football at will.
Really, we have to tip our hats to that Wisconsin Whitewater defense here today. Mount Union came into this game the #1 defense in the country in Division III, but the first time all season that Mount Union was unable to score a point in the second half of a game. Whitewater was the better team defensively today.
They were better up front on defense, better up front on offense, and as I said at the beginning of our broadcast, championship caliber teams are built from the inside out, and that's why we have a national champion in Wisconsin Whitewater at the NCAA Division III level.
A 2nd straight perfect season. 15-0 this year. The Warhawks of Wisconsin Whitewater are the champions of 2010. And what a game for that man, Lavelle Coppage. 30 straight wins. Going back to the 2008 Stagg Bowl when they lost to Mount Union. Wisconsin Whitewater, extremely impressive the last couple of seasons, and they win their 2nd straight national title, their 3rd in 4 years.
Tremendous amount of respect on behalf of both the coaches and players with Wisconsin Whitewater and the University of Mount Union. And I think 2 coaching staffs that admire the other for their way of having done it. And you know, it was interesting. Lance Leipold there, as you see, the head coach at Wisconsin Whitewater, told us that he likes to clinic with Larry Karras when they're not playing each other.
Let's go down to Jessica Mendoza.
Coach, you were the first to tell us this was not going to be easy, but how have you been able to get back-to-back national championships?
Well, I give a lot of credit to our players and our assistant coaches who have worked extremely hard, bought into the plan, work hard all year round, and it starts in those days in August when we ask them to keep finishing plays and do all those little things right. And I'm extremely proud of our coaches, our players, our university for their great support.
Well, one player in particular, Lavelle Coppage, what a night. How was he able to be so successful tonight?
Well, Lavelle Coppage is a special player at this level. He can make you miss. He's got great strength and vision. And we told him, we said, hey, little man, we're gonna lean on you today, and you might carry it 50, 60 times. But he had a heck of a day for us.
Thanks, Coach, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Coppage had 305 total yards, 3 touchdowns. He was 70% of the team's offense here in this game. Wisconsin-Whitewater does it again. 31-21 the final. Coming up next, Mid-American Conference Basketball, Detroit and Central Michigan. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For my partners and our entire crew, we say so long from Salem, Virginia. Now Jim Barber and Mark Adams.